This is peak Overwatch.
Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, what you've all been waiting for. And now it's go time. Here we go.
Bloody hands, my eyes wide, I got one chance. No sleep till I'm enhanced. Fight hard to keep my stance. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion, move aside.
Okay. Are you kidding me?
Taking over the game.
What am I watching? They might just be doing it.
He's a god. He's a god.
Yeah.
Oh!
Full force, I'm unleashed, so don't speak. Grandmaster, don't sleep. Victory, it tastes so sweet. Knuckle up, time to buckle up. I got one shot and I won't stop. One goal for the joyride. I'm a champion, move aside. Let's go.
Welcome to the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. My name is Zoe, and with me in this virtual reality are Jonathan Reinforced, Larson, Scott Costa Kennedy, and Danny Can't Pick 'em Lim.
Oh, I'm down bad, guys. I'm down bad.
Tough. Hard hitting
10
from
points.
the gate. So
I have 10 points.
You gotta set the mood, I guess, for the show. Set the bar. I don't know.
Oh, you chose violence? Oh, okay, I see how it is.
I woke up this morning and I chose violence.
Love to
But
see it.
you know, you love to see it. It's only Friday.
Yeah.
Let's see what the weekend brings. We're only 2 weeks into the June Joust, and if you're like me and you can't even remember what you actually had for your breakfast, well, you may need a quick look at the standings to remind you, well, where everyone stands. That's right. So let's take a look at the East region first. Shanghai, they are holding a comfortable lead, followed by a trio of orange and gold teams. You love to see it.
Ooh,
Yeah,
pretty.
love to see it. Love to see it. Shanghai, like, it's going to be APAC's so interesting these days because everything flipped on its head. Is Fusion the worst team in APAC now? I don't even know at this point. I thought they were the best, and now they might be the worst. We get to see Valiant now. Are they better? Are they improved? Everything's up in the air. Honestly, you can't even pick them. Just gamble.
Also, Guangzhou on the rise. You heard
They
it
are.
here first. So check out
Seoul's
Guangzhou.
and Seoul's playing finally this week, right? So that's gonna be exciting against. Was it Valiant? Was it Valiant? Who are they playing against?
Yeah, they're playing.
Yeah.
And
No,
White
they're playing Seoul.
And
And
Seoul.
oh yeah, Seoul. My bad. Sorry guys. Yes, it was Seoul versus NY.
I mean,
so
we
not
got there
Valiant.
eventually. That's all.
Yes.
No, but yeah, I think this week is going to be very exciting since there are a few teams we haven't seen play so far in the June Joust. Let's actually take a look at the Western region, and over there we do see a couple of Texan teams populating the top of the rankings, joined by their southern neighbors, the Florida Mayhem. And well, unfortunately, the rainy and cold climates are not faring too well, as London and Vancouver are still looking for their first victories. But maybe, you know, the summer weather will bring winds of change. Going full weatherman here.
Such
I
an
don't know,
optimist.
Costa, you
That's
feel
not
me?
violent.
You're going to pick a side, so you're going to be aggressive or you're going to be optimistic. You can't be both. Come on. What are we doing here?
I mean, sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to diversify, you know, like give some variety. Speaking of the Titans, which you just saw in those rankings, they made a roster change. That's right. And this is one of the big headlines this week. They signed new tank Changsik. And the big question is this move enough for the Titans to enter Van Sicker mode reinforced?
Oof.
Oh, no.
Well, let's not go there, Zoe. I do want to speak about Changsik though. You know, obviously a big pickup because he is, you know, a revered player. He's tons of experience in the Overwatch Esports scene. He was part of Apex in 2017, played for Meta Athena and the Chengdu teams. And then also in 2019, he played for the Philadelphia Fusion's Academy team, Fusion University in Contenders. That was during the GOATS meta. They were highly successful, won a bunch of stuff in Contenders here too. So obviously a great resume. But that being said, like, where's this guy been? He hasn't played a ton of competitive Overwatch recently, when it comes to pro teams anyway. So some question marks surrounding Changsik and what he can actually bring to the Vancouver Titans. Nonetheless, an exciting pickup. You know, Vancouver Titans, like we talked about this season, they are a team that needs perhaps some change. So maybe Changsik can be those winds of change, Zoe.
Wow, bringing it right back, tying it back in. Thank you so much, Reinforced. Now, another roster move came across the wire yesterday for the Toronto Defiant. Toronto has a few players feeling under the weather, so they signed contender standout Aspire to a 30-day contract to fill the gaps while the roster is resting and recovering. So, regardless, it's a great opportunity for one of our tier 2 players to shine on the biggest stage, or virtual stage anyway. Casta, what can we expect from Aspire?
Yeah, Aspire is one of those players who's been coming from the North American contender scene, has been in it for a very long time, playing on a lot of different teams. There is so much talent in North American contenders that are very good. Unfortunately, most of them aren't of age yet, and Aspire is one of those players that has sort of been on that cusp of making it to the league. So it's awesome that he gets a given opportunity. It is very trial by fire of just sort of getting thrown in the deep end with the Toronto Defiant, but it's also, there's not ridiculous expectations. I hope Aspire comes in comfortable, confident, because he gets to strut his stuff in the Overwatch League against the best teams in the world and really get to prove himself, because this could be the first stepping stone for him making his debut in OWL on a different team in the future. So really excited for the guy getting his opportunity. So whether or not he'll perform at the level, obviously Toronto is having a lot of missing players and a lot of ups and downs. So we'll see, but anything could happen, so.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, right, not too much pressure on Aspire himself, because if you're getting thrown into last minute like that, expectations shouldn't be too high, right? So people won't be mad if you're not performing to the highest level, but if you perform well, then you look like an absolute genius and a god. So there's really just a win-win situation here for Aspire. And now I want to get to the biggest news story in the Overwatch League recently. Of course, I'm talking about the return of the big boss, Pine. The former NYXL standout is now with the Dallas Fuel, who continue to bolster their roster. Now, Pine, an infamous hitscan DPS player, he will therefore fill that hole that XE left in his roster. Pine has been out of the league for some time now, so the question is, does he still have it? Is this the signing for Dallas they needed? And most importantly, will he even be playing today, Danny?
I mean, as far as I know, he's still in Korea, so I'm guessing he's not gonna play. But who knows? If their match goes well today, and he might get to play a map or two. I'm just guessing. I hope he plays, because we all miss Pine very, very dearly. And like Zoe said, he was one of the biggest hit scan players of NYXL as well in the inaugural season. And like Zoe also said, does he still have it? Because even though he was good, he has been gone for about over 2 years, and that's a long time. And now we have a lot of great hitscan players in the league as well. So I think the big question for Pine and everyone in the league and the league community will be: can he still hang with the best? Is he still considered one of the best hitscan players in the league?
But even if you're looking back or remember back to his time with NYXL, I feel like they also only subbed him in for like special occasions. So that was why he was treated like such a big boss, right? End boss. Pine comes in, destroys everyone, Pine goes out again, and everything is fine. And today their match is against London Spitfire. Arguably, they should be the clear favorite heading into this. So yeah, as you said, maybe he's going to be subbed in if they're up 2-0. We'll see. We'll see. There's only one way of finding out, and that's actually playing the match. Now, we've got some great matches on deck this very weekend, and if each of you had to pick one that the people watching should not be missing, which would that be? Starting with you, Danny.
I think this is a very easy one. For me, it's going to be San Francisco Shock versus Dallas. The rematch from May Melee knockout rounds. Unfortunately, San Francisco Shock lost. But, June Joust, new meta, and San Francisco Shock has always constantly proven us that, they could play any meta. They could adapt very fast, very quickly to any meta and play at a very high level. So it'll be really good to see, if can San Francisco Shock get the revenge on Dallas, or is Dallas going to beat them again and assert their dominance? I think it's going to be a great match.
Yeah, well, we've always, Shock always bounces back. They always struggle at the start and then bounce back. So that's the question. But for me, I'm actually looking towards the East. I actually want to see the Seoul Dynasty play. They're going up against the NYXL. NYXL has had some up and down performances, but have been looking more consistent. But Seoul, I keep talking about it. Someone's going to play Roadhog, and if it's going to be a team that's going to play Roadhog, it's going to be Gesture. Gesture's going to walk around, just do Gesture things like we saw in the playoffs last year. I just want to see someone play Roadhog. If it's not Super, it better be Gesture. And not only that, we're in a meta of pocket the Echo, put all your resources in the Echo, and let them pop up. who better to do that than Prophet? Prophet is the leading final blower in the entire league, so I want to see him really show Echo and put on a clinic of why he is the best in the world.
You need to stop coping with the Roadhog, man. It's not happening. I'm sorry.
Johnny, it's going to happen.
Someone's
going to play Roadhog. I swear. It's going to happen.
It's not happening. But
Don't speak it into existence. I like that.
Thank you.
he's trying. Gesture is watching the pre-show, Costa. Don't worry. He'll do it. He'll do it. Now,
I got you, Costa.
but if there's one composition I would like to see Seoul Dynasty play, it might be actually double shield. Maybe some Orisa, Diva even. Obviously, we have seen them in the past play Gesture, Orisa, and Marvel Sigma. Will we see that again?
Now who's dreaming?
That's the big storyline for me, really, going into this weekend. And the Seoul Dynasty, they are actually playing as the Shanghai Dragons as well this weekend. So that's a match that I'm really looking forward to, because I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup for the Seoul Dynasty. I think the maps they favor, some dive, echo kind of stuff, which is what the Shanghai Dragons have been playing. So I think that Shanghai Dragons against the Seoul Dynasty this weekend will be a banger of a match, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Wee. I mean, yeah. I'm excited for all the matches, of course, as per usual. I can't pick favorites, but if I had to, Atlanta Reign versus the Gladiators. I think that is going to happen tomorrow. This is going to be our look at the Gladiators. I still don't know what to expect from that team in the June Joust. We obviously know that it is a stacked roster, so expectations are high. And now that Atlanta is finally popping off with Kai on that Ashe, with Pelican on that Echo, like this meta seems to really suit them as individual players and also as a team. And I want to see them tested. And I want Gladiators to be that team which actually are testing them and pushing them to the limit. And I just hope for a very explosive, fast-paced, and exciting close match between those two teams. Or it's going to be an absolute stump and a disaster. I mean, you never know. After last week, I know nothing, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No one knows anything.
So we know nothing, but you have to just accept that and then move on. Now we're going to take a very short break, but don't block the watch point number just yet, because when we come back, it's time for some irresistible sales pitches. We're about to make some calls, fam.
Oh.
Wahoo!
The Overwatch League is brought to you by State Farm. For auto, home, or renter's insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back to Watchpoint. We've got some great games coming up for you, and before that, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It looks important though. Hello?
Hello, this is Sam Sanderson from the San Fran Stands. We're a group responsible for exporting all Shock merchandise and keeping tabs of fans. We've looked at your search history and think you're an ideal buyer.
Wait, what? You looked at my search history?
Yes, yeah, it happens. Don't worry, it happens to everybody. Okay, look, the San Francisco Shock, is selling their 2 Overwatch League Championship trophies. You want them or not? We have high demand for these.
Wait, they're selling their trophies? Why?
Maybe it's the shine getting to them. Maybe they're out of budget. We don't really know, but it's part of management's new motivation to really get them. Empty cabinets really add to the pressure to win championships. San Francisco Shock is turning it around.
Oh, I see. Well, I guess my cats do like shiny things. How much you want for those?
Oh, don't worry about that. We have your credit card info. We'll just bill you those 2 trophies. While we're here though, I also have a main tank / Genji player that I would like to sell you. Are you interested?
No.
Hello?
No. Oh, no. Yeah, it wasn't
Are you done?
important.
Are you
I'm
done, Zoe?
sorry.
I'm so
sorry.
disappointed in you, Zoe.
Zoe.
How can you
Sorry.
have your phone? Wait,
Come on!
Okay.
What are we doing here?
that's not.
Unbelievable.
That's me.
Amateur
I'm
hour.
sorry. I'm going to. I have to take this. Sorry. Hello.
Hello, I'm calling, conducting a survey for Hangzhou Statistics. May I ask you a few questions?
You're not gonna try to sell me something, are you?
You're funny. May I ask you, what is your favorite color?
Okay. Favorite color? I guess I would say red.
Pink? That's great. Who doesn't love pink? Second question, would you say you're more shy or more bold?
Oh, definitely bold.
Shy? That's fantastic. That is so lovely. That's great.
What is this all about?
Since you love pink and you're shy, I've got a great opportunity for you to become a fan of the Hangzhou Spark. For a small donation of only 200 Overwatch League tokens, you'll also receive the generous gift of a pink, shy Hangzhou Spark skin. This is a team on the rise. You don't want to be left behind.
Alright, I'm already a fan, and Spark is great. I have all that skin. I think you sort of wasted all your time.
That's great. You seem so passionate about the Hangzhou Spark. Now, if I could ask you only 10 more questions. Do you want to be an architect? How often do you make finger guns? Do you like anime by chance? What do you think about Gushui's chances to become an MVP this year?
Danny?
Sorry, guys. Yeah. That was.
Everyone put their
that was
phone
my
on
bad.
silent. We good?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
We good?
Really?
Johnny?
Really?
I'm so embarrassed.
Johnny.
Hello?
Hey, pal. How's it going?
Who is this? Because like this is unbelievable. I can't believe this. How can I help?
I don't need help, pal. I'm a Boston fan and we're living large. Have you seen Boston play lately? 6-0 maps, buddy. How's that for you, huh? This team is the best Overwatch team that has ever played.
I'm sorry. Are you selling me something or what's going on here?
Selling you something? What do you take me for, guy? Is this some kind of telemarketer? Is that what I sound like to you? You calling me a clown, guy?
Well, then why are you calling me?
You get it, pal? I'm calling everybody. I've been dialing random numbers all morning, rubbing into people's stupid faces about how good Boston is.
Okay. Well, look, I gotta go. Boston is pretty good, but you know,
Pretty good? Pretty good, bro. The only way this team could be better is if they had Tom Brady. But hey, have you ever thought that maybe I'm 37 is Tom Brady and it's all an act? That's what my buddy Sully thinks. I'm 37 is probably Tom Brady. Book it.
Look, I really gotta go.
Boston.
I'm hanging up.
Who was that, Johnny?
I'm sorry. I
okay?
don't know. It was some like weird
was intense.
fanatic, and I was raving about Boston. I don't know, like an upset
Boston?
Red Sox fan or something.
Oh
like
my
he
God.
was just
All
out
right,
of it.
well,
I can't believe
everyone
it.
put
You
those
saw-
phones on airplane mode now. I mean,
Yes.
I understand,
Okay.
you know, that
All right,
it
sorry
is
about that.
important to answer the call every once in a while because you never know who might be on the other end. You know, it might be the Dallas Fuel calling to offer you a contract, which was the case for their new star in an already stacked roster. Let's see what Pine has to say about his triumphant return to the Overwatch League.
오버워치 리그에 복귀하게 된 계기는 제 과거에 후회됐던 게 계속 생각나고 마무리가 좋지 않은 은퇴로 이어져서 다시 한 번 더 이제 리그로 오게 됐고 좀 이번에는 제가 과거 했던 행동들을 생각하면서 그 행동을 하지 않게끔 후회되지 않는 은퇴를 하고 싶습니다. 조금 더 이제 예전보다 달라진 모습을 보여드리도록 이제 약속을 드리고 싶어요. 네.
When we were looking for our replacement Hitscan, Pine came to mind for numerous reasons. One, he did show up in the tryouts that we had and had a really good performance. He brings a level of explosiveness and he's quite an aggressive player, which I think suits our playstyle as a team as a whole.
Not many Widowmakers would go for this play.
Yeah, but Pinewood.
Oh! What a flick!
Are you serious?
And another one. Beautiful. Oh my
It's
no!
Pine time!
He's just gonna kill everybody.
Big Boss Pine is on the scene.
비시즌에 달라스 테스트 봤었고요. 잘 안 된 것 같아요. 하지만 감독님이랑 코치님은 저를 눈여겨봤다고 얘기를 하시더라고요. 그래서 시즌이 시작하고 나서 테스트를 다시 봤습니다. 그리고 나서 이제 사인을 하게 됐어요. 오버워치 리그를 오고 이제 두려움은 당연히 있어요. 옛날보다 더 많이 있는 것 같고 그만큼 주목을 받다 보니까 어쩔 수 없이 이제 그런 거에 대해서 압박감이 오고 못하면은 또 그만큼 힘들어지니까 더 잘하려고 노력하고 하지만 이 두려움이 정말 부정적이 아닌 긍정적인 두려움으로 변했으면 좋겠어요.
There's always going to be pressure. I think with our coaching staff and our players around them, the great environment that's here in Dallas, I think he has every resource he needs to be the best he can be. I think he can utilize that pressure and turn it into confidence.
당장은 많이 두렵지만은 이 두려움을 극복하면은 더 성숙한 파인으로 변한다는 생각을 하고 있습니다. 세계 최고의 팀에 들어가는 거에 대해서는 어떤 사람이든 간에 세계 최고의 팀에 들어간다는 거에 대해서는 되게 기쁠 거고 세계 최고인 만큼 연습도 세계 최고로 많이 할 거고 그런 생각도 많이 했고 가면 세계 최고로 열심히 해보도록 하겠습니다.
So regarding our DPS situation now with Doa and Sparkle and adding Pine to the mix, I put full faith in our coaching staff at the end of the day. And I think this team, no matter what the meta is, will always play to our strengths, right? And if that means that is a strength with Pine, we will play Pine.
은퇴를 하고 나서 이제 제일 그리웠던 거는 타지로 이제 생활을 했던 게 제일 그리웠어요. 확실히 그런 연습할 수 있는 환경도 갖춰져 있고 저는 이제 집에 혼자 많이 있는데 선수 시절 때는 항상 누군가가 옆에 있었어요. 뭐 친하든 안 친하든 혼자 있는 시간이 많이 없어가지고 어떻게 보면 그런 시끌벅적한 이런 게 좀 그리웠었어요.
Pine's personality is great. I mean, he's funny. He likes to joke around a bunch, and I'm telling you right now, him and Spark are probably going to have a blast. He just has that mentality that I think we're really excited for.
제 별명 빅보스에 대해서는 제가 그 당시에는 제 이름 맞게끔 행동을 했기 때문에 저는 이제 긍정적인 이름을 닉네임이라 생각하는데 지금의 저로서는 아직 보여준 것도 없고 좀 많이 대드셨고 자만하지 않기 위해서 당장만큼은 빅보스라는 별명보다는 그냥 다른 선수들처럼 그냥 파인이고 제가 만약에 대회에서 좀 캐리한다고 하면은 그때부터 다시 빅보스라는 이름이 쓰이면 저도 이제 덜 부담스럽지 않을까. 네.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile.
Overwatch Point pre-show presented by State Farm. Our first two matches today will feature the London Spitfire up against the Western region leaders, the Dallas Fuel. Now, London, they had a few, granted only a few bright spots in the last few matches, but you know, it's going to be a tough task for them to go up against the Dallas Fuel. And I mean, I don't know what the script writers did, but this London June Joust schedule is brutal. Like, this hurts.
John Spector rose up and shows violence.
Hey, but you know,
I'm just kidding. He doesn't. I don't think he's like
guys,
smashes like
remember,
that.
you know,
They have some
miracles
algorithm.
can happen.
Some math,
Miracles
but-
can happen. London
Yeah.
could potentially win, guys, right?
I mean, honestly, given last week, I will remain on the anything is possible in the world of Overwatch kind of camp. So we'll see. Maybe, you know, they rock up and show us some out of our minds performances, or their minds rather. Now, let's take a look at their opponents though, because today, with the help of our IBM Power Rankings powered by Watson, we are looking at the top 20 players overall in the league, and well, there you have it. 6 of the Dallas starters are up in the top. It turns out if you're winning, the numbers are looking pretty good. Wow.
Winning is good, Zoe.
Wow.
Winning is
Yeah.
good indeed.
So blue.
Thanks, Johnny. If only I'd known that when I was playing.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm here, Costa. That's why I'm here, buddy. Yeah, I mean that advice could have helped you in your playing career, but you know, I thought
Yeah,
that's
especially
good
when
to
I
use.
was on Dallas, man. I could have told the rest of the team, guys, we're supposed to win. Ah, man, we were throwing the whole time. So
Yeah.
that's why we put time on Winston.
in
you know, the
hindsight,
classics.
right? Exactly. Now, maybe, you know, if it was a different year of the Fuel, it might not be so daunting if you're a London fan or player, but reinforce the 2021 rendition of the Dallas Fuel, they're just built different.
They're built different indeed. I mean, they really are built different, Zoe. Like, what a transition. I mean, they are, right? If you look at the last 6 matches, this is, of course, their qualification games. They beat the Boston Uprising 3-0, and then just went straight into knockouts and beat the San Francisco Shock and the Houston Outlaws 3-0 sweeps. Whoop! That was a quick day of Overwatch right there. And then, of course, they won the playoffs in the main melee as well, beating the Chengdu Hunters and the Shanghai Dragons twice. And they didn't even play McCree. They didn't play the meta. They're built different, Zoe. So yes, the cycle of misery is most definitely over, as per our graphic right here. So this Dallas Fuel this year, so exciting to watch. I mean, spectacular player talent, but their macro game, the compositions they're choosing, the rotations, the engagement, the ultimate usage, it's fantastic. So watching Dallas Fuel truly is a joy this year, and I can't wait to see what they bring out this stage, because we have seen a lot of Ash and Echo cannot play, but they still don't. Are they gonna field Pine? Is he going to be the hit scan player this team really needs, or are they going to keep fielding Sparkle and Doa? That is the big question for me, because they defy the meta in the main melee. Now going into June Joust, are things going to be different? Are they going to adhere to the meta, or are they going to continue to shake things up and play Overwatch their own way?
Well, that becomes the question of, like, I wouldn't say the wrong way, just the different way. And how long can they get away with it? We've seen teams have success playing these off-meta roles, you know, obviously Shanghai Dragons in 2019, but I think it's interesting to see how long it can last for. Eventually you get found out, eventually you get caught. How long can they keep playing Sparkle on the legs, right? This is a cute little niche strategy, but you can't get away with only using Soldier as your hit scan. Are they going to start bringing out Pine, or is Sparkle going to try and reinvent the wheel and keep playing this Soldier? We've seen it a little bit from a few other teams with varied success. It's played very flanky, kind of like a Tracer style, but you're a Soldier. But I don't know if that's going to keep working, especially against how prominent, you know, the shields are now in the meta, and McCree is so strong. So I don't know. I feel like this lifespan of this Dallas playing niche things has an end coming, and I hope that we get to see Pine before they sort of run into that wall where they eventually do get found out. So I'm on the edge whether Dallas is going to be as good in the June Joust.
I sort of feel like, you know, Dallas would be okay, because like how you said, Sparkle is having that niche picks, and they do have Pine as well, but you know, we're forgetting one more DPS player, and that's of course Doha. I want to sort of talk a little bit about him because I feel like he deserves more credit, and not a lot of people do talk about him. And you know, he's always been really good, very, you know, consistent in his plays, and you know, just downright very reliable flex DPS. In the main melee, I think he was a great flex DPS for Sparkle in many ways, and also even right now, you know, with the current meta, Echo being so prominent and being like the key hero for a lot of teams. I'm really excited to see Doha's Echo, and look at the stats card. He's been pretty good on that Echo, so I feel like he is sort of, you know, one of the players that we should really watch out for Dallas Fuel in the June Joust tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't know if you can tell by watching our preview of this match, but it may or may not be obvious who we will be picking as the favorite heading into this first match, but that just leads me to once again remind you that you too can pick the winner of the match. Head on over to make it official at pickens.overwatchleague.com. The June Joust is a fresh start. That's right, we're starting at 0 here, so you once again have the chance to win not just $500, but also this beautiful Widowmaker statue. Did any of you already mess up the pick'ems, as in like not actually, you know, make them? Costa, I know you're a specialist here.
You want to know how ridiculous last weekend was? I forgot to put in an entire day's worth of pick'ems, but I would have got it all wrong anyway. Like I looked at it and my net loss was really 0 from not doing it. So I'm starting fresh this weekend. Forget last weekend. I'm starting fresh again. So
you don't even get a participation award. Like you straight up didn't participate. You won nothing.
Not even a sticker. Well, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are in the same boat. So I still think that if you happen to be one of the people who got those pick'ems right, you're either a blind fan or you're a genius. One of those two will apply, and we don't know which is true, but one of you is actually going to walk away with the money and the statue, and I can't wait to see who that is. Now, it is time where we unveil our deepest secrets to one another. That's right, we're looking at our match picks. Anything anyone want to say to preface?
Let's see who was bold enough. No one was bold. Yep. Okay.
No,
just move on.
Just move on. I mean, I don't think there's any surprises here, but I love when we're all on the same page as well every once in a while. It's not exciting to watch, but that also means that we're all wrong together or correct together, and sharing is caring, right? But that's it for the Watchpoint pre-show presented by State Farm. Now we're gonna send it over to our casters, Uber and Mr. X, and all of us here at the desk are dying to see what Mr. X is wearing today, as he announced it very early today.
Oh, it's mustard!
Very nice.
It's a mustard sweater.
Nice mustard shirt. It's a very nice mustard sweater.
Just looks
That's
like
not at all what you hyped it up to be. It looks super normal.
How is that special? It just looks like a mustard-colored sweater.
Yeah.
It fits you. Yeah. You really are the mustard of the Owl Talent team.
Well, you know, I actually when Danny mentioned when Danny mentioned miracles before, I was trying to think of the miracles that happened in the Overwatch League. I was like, oh, we brought Reinforce back after season 1. I was like, it's a miracle.
Yeah, I mean, it was very similar to Jesus resurrecting himself. So here I am, you know. Good times.
Same thing.
Bit of a Lazarus moment. I think that miracle would be up there with Matt seeing eye to eye with anybody on the desk in terms of
that's true, because I'm so tiny. But I gotta say, now I'm happy we got Johnny in HD now, though. I'm happy he's not beamed in from above in his spaceship. I'm happy we got Johnny in full HD glory now. Zoom in on Johnny. Let's get close. Let's see how crispy.
Johnny, get a little closer. Get a little closer.
Hey, listen, get a little closer.
No, we don't need to see that. No, we don't need to see that. Come on. Don't ruin it. Yes. Just give me this, Matt. Just
it looks like the internet connection in like these hinterland villages of Sweden where they just fish mackerel for a living has gotten much better. It's great to see Johnny in greater definition.
I got Snillo right here. Snillo's off the camera.
There it is.
Get closer.
Stop it. Get away from me.
Enhance.
Get away.
Look at the detail.
No.
You can almost see the remains of his beard. Yeah.
He's actually like, because you can see like he's just about to pick up his net and head back out to the lot for us and grab his surplus. Thank you, Johnny. We'll catch up with you in a second. Matt,
you have a game today, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. Look, okay. Yes, I think loosely speaking, we have a game today. Of course, I think a lot of people are not expecting to see all that close a match between these two rosters now. The one argument people have sort of made in Dallas's case is that, well, wait a minute, Reinhardt's not available, Tracer, Sombra not available. These are a multitude of different heroes that Dallas really lent on, but as we've seen in the APAC region, Echo Reaper with double shield, or just sometimes Winston Diva seems to be the go, and you have to think that Dallas is going to be more than comfortable, sort of, regardless of what London throw comp-wise.
I almost feel like you're just making an argument there just to make an argument. It's not even really one you can back up really strongly. Obviously, you know, the They don't have a hit scan player, Dallas. We don't know if we'll see Pine today, but even with that, they got by in the May Melee without a McCree, where McCree was like one of the most played heroes. So I think when you kind of look at the roster and you start to, nitpick a little bit, especially going into this match against London, I think you're just looking for holes in a Dallas team that's been pretty solid thus far. This is the London Spitfire starting lineup. We get Shax and Blase in the DPS roles today.
Yeah, Blase actually will be going up against a teammate on the side of Dallas Fuel. Jexa and him served on that ill-fated Houston Outlaws roster from last year. But the London Spitfire, we've seen some signs of brilliance from this roster on occasion. Again, this is a meta I'd say that they just haven't shone in. We wondered how they'd fare against teams that leaned on double shield, but we got the answer to that question, right? They struggled against the Atlanta Reign. Prior to that, we saw them go up against a team that, didn't want to play double shield. They also had problems with that. A lot of data available to us for the London Spitfire right now, and they themselves look like they're trying to carve out their own identity. Their opponents, however, have a pretty good idea by now of who they are. The Dallas Fuel, of course, reigning May Melee champions. No, we don't know what they're going to be playing right now, but again, their hero pool lines up really well with what we're seeing teams like Chengdu get a lot of success with, even the Fusion to some degree over in APAC in terms of some of these compositions. Do we expect to see Wrecking Ball? No. There might be some double shield here. We know Hanbin is an incredibly good Sigma, but Matt, I don't think there's any reason for this team not to be able to play Winston D.Va pretty happily.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to come up with something that will be able to get them past. I know the London Spitfire. London's got a brutal schedule. The desk really kind of hit on it. I mean, it is a rough go for them.
It's death row. Let's be clear.
Yeah, I mean, it is a rough go as Nepal will be our first map in the series. Also a reminder, Dallas Fuel, although they win the May Melee, they go in as like one of the bottom seeds. They are only 2-2 like in our overall season. They absolutely needed those points for the May Melee competition. So those will really kind of carry them in the overall standings because their record isn't the best thus far.
Yeah, great point. They get 3 match wins for winning the entirety of the May Melee, which, I mean, is only slightly more than, if they just managed to go clean through the qualifiers. So, yes, it puts them in a pretty nice spot, but it doesn't set them very far ahead of the rest of the league. That's why the Dallas Fuel today needs to show that with this composition, with this roster, they're adaptable enough to deal with whatever hero pools has, and London, for that matter, has to throw at them. I personally expect plenty of, Reaper Echo from these guys. Yeah, no surprise there. You don't have to play Mercy Brig in this composition or sort of Mercy Arnas we've seen from some teams. You played the Brawl variant, something that Dallas was showing us even in the May Melee. Just this really comp map that just wants to fight very quickly and get the most out of Moira in a short span of time.
Yeah, and for a lot of teams, you kind of look at this composition and you're like, oh, well, where's the double shield? Like on Control, you can run something like this a little bit more effective. And then I also think for Dallas, this puts a bunch of their players on roles that they really excel on. So London will come out and actually mirror this to kick things off.
All right. Not often we actually get to see the Lucio Moira mirrored between one another. You see Doha's working around the fringes of that Winston bubble early on, and okay, the trade goes in favor of the Fuel, and that's why Multic has to just turn around straight away. And now Dallas see that, they win the early trade, and they just lean into the Spitfire a little more.
As the Spitfire now want to go wrap to the point. They realize they can't take high ground, they want to try and beat Dallas Fuel to the point, but Dallas is so fast. They're already, the positive here for London is Rippa's already got this Coalescence.
Fielder not too far away from it himself. That healing orb has definitely gone to help. Ripper's going to go with the Biotic Orb offensively before the Coalescence, so an extra bit of damage, and they're able to find Sparkle with the Micro Rockets. Going to be a Primal Rage from Fearless, so and Dallas are going to be a little bit hard to shift off of the point at this time. Ripper has to use a Biotic Orb to heal himself, and Hardy's in trouble. Oh my god, there could be another Coalescence here for the Spitfire. Blase going to copy a Moira, and here we go again. Sound barrier for the Dallas Fuel though, so that'll help them stave this off. Fielder getting close to yet another Coalescence. We might have multiple support ultimates cycled through here, Matt.
Well, and mind you, this fight is going for so long in this brawl type of setup. You see a Death Blossom there on traditional Death Blossom fashion. Just the Reaper goes die, 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 and he's the only one that dies. But the Dallas Fuel control the point for the entire portion of this beginning kind of sequence. Multic could go for the remake kill. He'll just get staggered out. But, I mean, that is 50% already and counting for the Dallas Fuel, and that is effectively our first fight. That is just a fight that goes forever.
really very difficult to isolate a single target in a fight like that where there is just so much healing being provided. The Spitfire spent 60% of that fight with a coalescence in play, healing their team and also getting some damage. They're going to try this again. They really are testing themselves fundamentally here against the Dallas Fuel. Doha has a Death Blossom now, takes a glancing blow, is able to move back forward as Reaper goes down to the Primal Rage. So the Spitfire have no business winning this fight, and I think they know that.
And Fearless is getting so much value with these Primal Rages. The first one that he used in the previous fight, he actually knocks Kellex, who has Sound Barrier, basically all the way up to the high ground alone. This time he's able to just knock both supports so far away from the rest of the team. They leave Molfig demeched again. They'll take him out as this is a dominant first point here from Dallas.
Yeah, Hardy has no choice but to throw himself into the breach, but Doha's going to be there to catch him with the spiked mitts. And the Dallas Fuel will look very, very good in this first round. Now, Matt Control, obviously, the objective is a little bit more straightforward. It is very much just a matter of butting heads on the point. Even ult economy means a little less because there's just so much healing available and so many support ults with the ability to duplicate a support. But it's the little things there for the Dallas Fuel that make a big difference. Mostly setting up your Reaper for success. That defense matrix from Hanbin quite often is in Doha's direction just to make sure that Doha can actually play as aggressive as he'd like to and not get sticky bombed.
And we've seen London play a lot of these like Winston-based compositions, and I kind of question a little bit more to like why. We've seen such good effect against these like aggressive comps with double shield, like Arisa in the mix specifically. And I feel like if you're going to play the Dallas Fuel, you wouldn't want to play them in a matchup that was, you know, Winston Diva aggressive type of dive, right? You'd want to try and, you know, change the pace of the game, slow the pace of the game down a little bit. They'll play from a distance, but London opts to play them in the mirror.
Yeah, I think that's just an unfortunate sort of comfort composition matchup here. That the London Spitfire want to play the same way as the Dallas Fuel, but maybe just quite as proficient. That's pretty good, though. They do a good job of isolating Sparkle there. It's actually Shax who goes on a flank at the start of the fight.
They knew he was there as well, which is so bizarre about how he's able to pick this up. As, it looks like London should be able to take this point. You just have both tanks and Fielder alive here for Dallas. As, that'll be Hanbin going down eventually. So this should be London being able to take it.
Yeah. Look, this composition, as opposed to the Ana Mercy variant of this sort of Winston Echo Dive, doesn't have as many tools in the backline or for dealing with Reapers. So sometimes you know a Reaper's flanking, but you don't necessarily have the tech to deal with him outside of maybe trying to boop him away or just fading away if you're the Moira under pressure. So maybe you have to let it happen to a degree. Hardy's going to come in here. He has that Primal Rage. There's going to be a Coalescence in the fight for Fielder and Reaper respectively. And there's a lot of pressure being applied to Sparkle, who has to duplicate a Diva. Doha gets blown up. Molfig's able to knock him off the map there. No TP available. And of course, Kellex is going to be able to pull himself back up onto the ledge. That self-destruct had no business fighting Hardy, and somehow the Spitfire lose their main tank to the free ultimate from Sparkle. And the Fuel are now poised to retake, but as a duplicated Winston on the point, Blase is in danger mode now. Primal Rage could be really risky for the Fuel to play around, and they go for a sound barrier.
Yeah, the sound barrier there is massive for Jexay trying to keep everybody up. That'll be another self-destruct here from the Fuel. This time it's Hanbin's mech. So you do have players coming back here for London. So Hadi jumping on the point. You still have Ripper here. You'll be able to stall this out for a little bit longer. But Dallas with just such a man advantage at this point.
Those couple of big hits, by the way, from Doha are so important. It's really hard to heal that damage up quickly in the midst of the fight. So if Doha can get purchase on Molfig when there's no defense matrix available, 1-2 shots, all of a sudden puts so much pressure on London and also kind of forces Molfig to turn tail and not be able to defense matrix any of his teammates. Doha's in a great position here, Matt, to just stop the Spitfire before they get started.
Yes, Dallas Fuel are going to play really close to the store. You're also going to get a Primal Rage out of this as well for the Dallas Fuel. See, they're just trying to get London, bait them in here, maybe get a DMAC, try and burst down the Diva real quick, and then a Death Blossom. That'll be Shax coming out with a Death Blossom and Coalescence helping him out.
Yeah, a lot of particle effects in this site, but crucially it's Shax that actually gets taken down during that Death Blossom. Somehow Reaper's not able to keep him healed up by the looks of things with that Coalescence, and Fearless is causing so many problems. Matt, one look at Fearless, and you can see why it's so hard for the Spitfire to avoid those self-destructs, the Duplicator one and Hanbins. With all this displacement, you can't reliably break line of sight against that explosion.
Yeah, absolutely, and he makes it very difficult even on the tanks of the London Spitfire because he just keeps pushing back the supports. And obviously with a Moira Lucio, you only get benefit of their healing if they're really
proximate.
close.
Yeah.
So I mean, there have been times where, you know, Hottie's been having to back out to just get back within line of sight of those players.
Another D.Va duplication, so you know what this means. Sparkle's going to have himself a new shiny mech in just a moment. Okay, see Reaper and Telex, perfect point match. They had to fade away, in fact, did Reaper. Couldn't be there to heal the rest of his team. Telex is having to get back just in time to get the sound barrier to the rest of the Spitfire, but the Fuel is still in control of the point. It's 78% and counting, and again, Shaxx is the first casualty in this fight. Huge amount of damage off the table now for the London Spitfire, and so is their flank pressure. Doha's confident enough to go forward with the Death Blossom, and Hardy is felled, and this has got to be curtains for London, Matt.
It's going to be tough. You're looking at London. They have no ultimates to kind of get back in through this so quickly. Fearless with the Primal Rage. They actually know that Kellex is trying to make a play for the point. Beautiful read there by Dallas. So he will not be able to touch, and that'll be the Dallas Fuel taking map number 1.
Plucky as they are, the London Spitfire want to challenge Dallas on their own terms. I mean, it's brave, and some might call it a fool's errand. Decent start in the second round there from London. Again, as we start to see maps that sort of aren't control maps, you might see, you know, backline compositions that are a little bit more resilient to that kind of displacement and don't always have to be right on top of their front line to do some work. And that might be a good sign for London, of course, as we know their backline is very, very dangerous. So stick around, because map number 2 and another chance for the London Spitfire to get on the board is coming up.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Indeed, we help people get jobs. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Yeah, we've been absolute fans of your awesome artistic work this season so far in our fan art gallery by Coca-Cola. So this week, bit of a twist. We would love you to try and submit your favorite Overwatch League player enjoying a Coca-Cola beverage for a chance to be featured on the gallery. And that's pretty broad. They can be enjoying it in a vast, they could be swimming in it, you know what I mean? That would also be okay. You can submit your art over at overwatchleague.com/art-gallery to get your submissions in there. It could be Carl with a cold Coca-Cola beverage. That would be acceptable too, Matthew. Carl gets thirsty sometimes as well.
Very thirsty. Very thirsty.
Now,
It's dangerous when he's thirsty.
I bet. Doha, of course, now. Okay, so Danny talks it up at the start of the show. He's cherry picking because he's like, I don't think this guy gets enough credit. In fairness, there was definitely the argument that Doha was like unsung hero of the Dallas Fuel's May Melee campaign, and especially in that final. Definitely a candidate for player of the match, but he didn't shatter from the air like, 300 Spartan style. But, I mean, obviously, this guy, over this time on Element Mystic, really was quite an impressive player. And perhaps the reason some people feel he's overrated is maybe because Sparkle's just a little bit more of an animated personality, but Doha is so important, especially right now, because he's the star in this setup. When it's Echo Reaper, it is definitely on him to do a heck of a lot of the work. Obviously, Hybrid gets subbed in for Shax here as we head into our second map, and that was obviously the Reaper player from the pool coming out on the bench now, and Hybrid, who we know to play a bit more of that medium to long-range hit scan.
Yeah, with Junkertown, you fully expect them to play like Widowmaker, potentially like a double sniper setup, which the Dallas Fuel you don't think can match unless one of Sparkle or Doha has picked up the Widowmaker. We can take a look at the map leaderboard presented by Xfinity. Dallas on the receiving end of a fast time. I wonder if that was Custa's Valiant. And then the Fuel.
2018, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no. That was Custer's Fuel, wouldn't it, a bit?
Was he on the Fuel there, or was he on the Valiant?
Well, that was Season 1. So, yeah. I mean, Custer was on the Fuel first, if you recall.
Right, but he was traded during Season 1.
Ah, well, we're there. Okay, so we could maybe one of them is Custer. Maybe they're both Custer, but he was on different teams. You know what?
Maybe he was traded halfway through the series.
Custer's just the center of too much drama. I cannot keep up with it, man. It's like a sitcom, a soap opera, if you will. I mean, he didn't compare himself to Jesus, I guess, so there's that.
That was... I want to see this. I want to see the Sparkle Widowmaker. This would be just the ultimate of like, you know what? I'm just going to pick up the Widow. I know he picked up Pine, but watch this, guys. And just come out. Honestly, if you were London, you would have zero clue that would even be a thing. You have
it's not
no
happening,
clue
man.
that they would play Widowmaker. No, I mean, this would be even wilder. Get a Genji sighting here. But if you don't have Widow and you're going to dive the Widow on the other team, you may as well go with the Genji.
Yeah, I just don't think Reaper does enough for you, especially when you get close to that first checkpoint. It's way too open. Sparkle can at least close some of that distance, and he can really benefit from the nano boost here as well. Dive, the Widowmaker. This is, I mean, the Spitfire are not ready for this push at all. Just evidenced by how much damage Molfig takes. They can't stand their ground because the healing's just not there, so they concede all this high ground. Sparkle thinks, right, oh, well, I got a perch now, don't I?
And this is what I would have liked to see London play, obviously not with the Widowmaker, probably like an Ashe, in the first map. Play double shield, try and slow the game down. Don't play the dive against Dallas.
You could even try McCree.
A ton of payload progress here.
You could have done McCree on the map just to have more defensive capability with the flash. Obviously that didn't happen. The Spitfire here, look at this, so passive. They're giving so much ground, and look at that, they just go past Hardy. Hardy sat in the middle looking like confused Travolta. They've just gone straight over his head. Molfig goes down now, and this backline's about to get ripped to shreds. I mean, the London Spitfire, they have high hopes to use Hardy as the bouncer, the doorsman, but he just gets ignored.
Well, I mean, that's your benefit of when you were discussing if you were to play like McCree, as you see Hybrid go to McCree. You play a lot closer together as McCree in the mix with the Batiste and whatnot. When you have the Widowmaker, you're going to play obviously from a distance. So looks like that'll be the first point take already for the Dallas Fuel. Is 5 minutes remaining on the clock. a ton of time. You're also going to build up here towards a Nano Blade for Dallas. You have the ability to even nano the Echo. No support ult on the other side. Things are cruising still here for the Dallas Fuel.
Oh yeah, they are doing just fine. Blase has a duplicate available. Might be a Diva. Maybe this part of the map could be pretty effective, especially to shut down some of Fielder's impact. We'll see what Blase's looking for right now. Again, the line of Spitfire is so respectful. They give him so much room. So British of them, really.
But they're just going to come around the corner and use a nano on a... Yeah, this time it's on a Fearless. Huge biotic grenade there from Fielder as well. You know, you give up that much space. You put yourself in a position, Mitch, where you only have one fight. Like, that's it. I mean, look at where the payload's going to get here. You know, Blase doing his best, trying to primal players off. You haven't even used the blade here if you're the Dallas Fuel. You've taken really 3 fights as London, and you've lost all of them. And now that's going to be the second checkpoint complete with 5 minutes and 20 in the bank.
Hardy's lack of mobility is being exploited every single fight. That one was no different. Over his head go the Dallas Fuel. Fearless Primal Rages, forcing the Spitfire into that small corridor. Hardy sat on the floor like, what about me? No, like he's dying last in all these fights. He's just being ignored. Like, at least maybe if the Spitfire can play around him, they can use Holt more effectively to prevent Sparkle from being able to dash away. Flash there almost deflected. In fact, it might have been deflected into one of Hybrid's teammates. Hard to say. Doesn't matter. No one dies as a result, and Supercharge has been removed here. The Spitfire's still not sure how to make this happen.
No, and you're giving up even more payload progress here. And they're trying to have the McCree up on the high ground. This will be a Nano Blade that comes through. Sparkle gets 1. He's going to get at least 2 more.
Oh my! This is about as one-sided as you can get. 4 minutes 30 on the clock here.
Dude, they still have a sound barrier here. I mean, they're going to have a sound barrier self-destruct. You're going to stagger out Mulfig. I mean, what, you're going to have a rally Deadeye here at the end? I mean, this is not good.
Body grenade, it's 4! Oh my! Ripper gets hit with that one as well. Blase and Hardy can't even really peek out, and Sparkle's able to find 2 quick kills already. Hybrid finds 1. Electric Cowboy eventually brought to his knees as Sparkle finds the finish there. There is still a self-destruct to make some of this space, and Harman's going to use that straight away. Mulfig's able to break the line of sight by using the body of the card, and he'll have a self-destruct of his own. A pause now for the Fuel, but it's back to business. Kellex completely isolated and removed in that right side corner. Mulfig trying to keep this going, but a Deadeye now from great distance. Hybrid, can't get it done. Harman runs him down with a micro rockets, and Mulfig can't get back into his mech. Sparkle has a blade, he pulls it straight away, even though he's hit with a body grenade. This guy is legitimately unhinged. Now he's looking to the skies. But Dallas Fuel are already floating comfortably through the map. 3 minutes 32 on the clock.
We just ran the graphic for you know, the fastest time, so that graphic may be old news. We have to.
So it's 3:32.
That one actually
3:32.
The top
The
5.
5th fastest is 3:46, so it's pretty darn close.
We've seen some blowouts on this map. What in the world?
So
I mean, that seemed like we were on like record pace for a bit. I mean, London just gave up so much space. They never took fights. Like, there's one thing to kind of like get set up and organize and get together and take a fight, but they never had an opportunity to, like, you know, force some ultimates out, take a fight close. We can see this is the Nano Blade.
Again, Hardy ignored. Just ignored.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is why when someone says...
Well, you're also playing the McCree on the high ground. Sorry, but you're playing the McCree on the high ground, and you're playing the main tank on the low ground, and you have an on-off to the right. You're still really kind of spread. Like, they could have even maybe tried to play, you know, I mean, this is like a really slow comp. You could have tried to play like something like a Reaper with the McCree and really kind of play like a Bunkerish, but you just lose out on so much damage, like with the no Echo in the mix. Also, you're going to play close. They're going to play the Reaper.
So Hardy might punish here just for the hog initially, in case there's a spawn cam attempt. They know what's going on. And he misses the hook, so he switches straight away. Cat's out the bag there. Oh man, you can just see the look of resignation on his face as he realizes he has to lock the battle cow against this. Now, probably a little bit easier for him. Yeah. Yeah, you play Reaper close.
Yeah.
This comp does require you to get out of spawn to some degree. But again, you just want to make it really less than ideal to die to you.
We got to get you on the desk. I mean,
You like that one? Yeah.
Yeah. They got to get out of the spawn door to make this one work. Mitch, I'm going to break this one down. If they can get on the payload and get it moving, they got a shot.
The only thing worse than John Madden is John Madden's co-commentator
Come on.
who calls him out.
Oh, they gotta get out of the spawn to make this comp work. Every comp needs to get out of the spawn to make it work.
Well, admittedly, it's a little bit facetious, Matt. It's definitely not 100% in earnest. I'd like that to at least maybe go without saying once in a while. Still, a minute off the clock.
I take everything literally, right? So when you say that, I think that's literally what you think.
Right. I just thought it was actually because you didn't know what facetious meant. But that makes more sense actually now. Listen,
I'm not good with sarcasm.
We got a minute, more than a minute off the clock here. So in fairness, that Spitfire comp didn't work out until they're actually able to get out the door properly and actually leverage the Blaze's ability to wrap around. Here's a nano boost on the McCree. Forget about it, folks. He blows him up.
That is the fastest I've seen anybody die with a nano boost, I think, ever. He got the nano, and the focusing beam, the primal, just comes right on top of his head. So these fast fights. And to be fair to London, like, this is a composition that you would kind of craft up thinking, like, okay, we can bait them in, don't really punish them close range with the Reaper and the McCree. And Dallas doesn't care. They're finding a target, they're picking a target, jumping on them, and just burning them down so fast. Really, the Echo focusing beam, it has a little bit more length and range than people realize. And you're able to burst some of these players down from pretty far away.
That ability in and of itself actually might be a problem for these sort of comps to deal with.
Supercharger here, you can just line of sight all of this. Yeah, I mean...
Deadeye. It's from hybrid and off angle. Sparkle's able to use that invulnerability frame, though, during his duplication just to get himself a Diva. They have lost Jexa right now, so Dallas Fuel compromising a little bit of their mobility. Ripper's going to be able to just dodge that one pretty comfortably here. Blaze's Death Blossom will get Fearless eventually. So, Matt, in some sense, this comp finally does what it's supposed to do.
Well, the biggest kill there is they get Jexa at the beginning, because what they're trying to do is get aggressive behind his speed and the sound barrier. And they pick him off and not able to obviously use the sound barrier during that fight. A change here from Sparkle. So, gonna go over to the Genji again. So, Genji Reaper dive here with the Ana in the mix. So, this is the kind of, in a return, a little bit of an answer, right? Where London's comp wants to play really close together. You can get really good value with the Genji dash, but then more importantly, just look for Fielder with these biotic grenades. He's hitting a ton on their offensive side.
Sound barrier, there it is for Jexa, just in time as well. Fielder doesn't benefit from it, Matt. Doha's going to be able to get rid of Kellex to start the fight with it now. I mean, he's just in the perfect position to continue. This is tough. I mean, tougher to play from this position as London now, where they're contending with the high ground.
And that's what they would have done in that previous push, as Sparkle having the time of his life here.
Yeah. Oh, God.
They usually, pro players usually always very stressed, right, under a ton of pressure in these games. The defending champion's first match of the tournament here, and he is all smiles trying to spawn camp as Genji.
This is only a look that you get from Dallas, right? I don't really see many teams that bring the Genji here.
Really not. But,
yeah.
But also no other teams have the problems that they have in terms of.
I mean, they could play Echo. They could play. I guess they could play the Echo here still. You'd have to worry about hybrid, but you could get away with it. A lot of teams try it anyway. Or maybe Ashe from this position as well if you had the hit scan access, so sure. But Genji works just fine. You see, it's skill dependent, I think, especially when you have the nano boost, right? It's not so bad.
Well, so many good nano targets. Fearless, obviously. Doha, you could nano the Reaper. Nano Blade, a fantastic combination. Here's going to be the Blade to kick things off. That'll be a nano boost as well here. And they're able to deal with Sparkle.
Nice turnaround there. Hybrid going to push forward now that Rally was used. But look, Dallas start that fight pretty early on in this stage, right? They force out key ultimates as well from London.
I was going to say that. They end up, London ends up using what? They end up using Rally and Nano there.
Yep.
So you come back here, if you're Dallas, you'll have a Nano that you're building up here, letting Fielder get all of this healing on a Fearless. And you could Nano Doha, send him in. Yeah, you can Nano the Winston here. A lot of options for Dallas. And this is why you take the fights early.
Fearless wants to push up now. Doha's hit with a biotic grenade, so he won't be death blossoming for now. But the Spitfire acquiesce. They just give Dallas all of this room, and Doha gets himself back on the high ground vantage. I mean, you can't really dodge this. Now hard split for the rest of his team, and that is definitely a dead Orisa. What a crucial positioning error there from the Spitfire, and the Dallas Fuel, they capitalize instantly.
You win this fight for Dallas, you end up having to use a sound barrier there. Maybe you think that London's going to invest from the high ground, but it's probably not even necessary in the grand scheme of things. So 20 seconds left. A lot of good early fights here for the Dallas Fuel. They've drawn this one out. They'll have Death Blossom, Primal Rage, Blade here to try and close it out.
Spitfire, okay, Deadeye maybe not as relevant. They can nano boost Blase here. Self-destruct's also available. Harmon takes a ton of damage early on here, and Molfig, okay, I think he's forced into that self-destruct. I don't think he really wants to do that normally. Doha slept, tried to go for the Death Blossom, and there it is. That's what I mean about the difference. You don't have just the Lucio Moira. You actually have a way to deal with that Reaper now. Speaking of which, Reaper going to go down. Harmon going to pick him up, and Sparkle goes for the Blade. It's enough to get rid of Molf's mech. And it's going to be a Wraith Walk away for Blase, who had Death Blossom and no chance to use it. Oh dear, I mean, the look on Sparkle's face tells the whole story. It is another day at the office for the Dallas Fuel.
Fast fights from the Dallas Fuel, getting really aggressive on the London Spitfire. That time it's Fearless with a nano boost, goes into the back. He separates everybody from the London Spitfire, and they have no speed to kind of group back together, get back on the point. Now, once you start spreading out against this Dallas team, and you're going to have to take these different duels, it's going to be a fast game in Dallas's favor.
London had to hold on here, otherwise there's going to be back to MI6 because they'll be 0-7. Stick around, let's see if the Spitfire can make a game of this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by State Farm. For auto, home or renters insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Cheez-It Grooves. So much flavor, it's a mind crunch. TeamSpeak, the official voice supplier of the Overwatch League. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
Now your only damage is going to be a Genji, which isn't the most consistent in the world at trying to do damage, although I say that, look at Doha just slow! That's the ghost attack!
5, the biggest one from Libyan. Siaki will go down, but not before he can get that nano boost out on a Fearless, who is just cleaving everybody like a monster.
Longo as well, Untitled dies, and Sparkle! Oh my word, that's what we wanted to see.
Yeah, that's right. Here's IBM Watson with your dose of reality. Just to remind you exactly what the Spitfire are going up against, Matthew. Here's your top 10 overall players entering this week. 1, 2, and 3 are locked up by Fielder, Fearless, and Hanbin, respectively. That's 2 tanks in support, by the way. Sparkle and Doha also round out the top 10. You are going up against the creme de la creme of the Overwatch League here. It's a tough job.
Yes, it is a very tough job. You would like to see it be a little bit closer, I think, at times.
That's as bad as me saying you need to get out of spawn to use your composition, you know it, bro.
I mean, that is not. I mean, you know, the game could be
nice
close, it could be not close.
A little bit more competitive. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, but I mean, teams fundamentally to make any kind of composition work have to leave the spawn.
Actually, Junkrat can still have impact while in spawn, indirectly. There's plenty of heroes that have indirect impact on the game state.
Well, Shax is back in, so maybe he'll help make it close, as the next map in the series will be Hanamura. And I think what we talked about it, London has a brutal schedule this tournament. They've had a coaching change, obviously playing online. A lot going against the London Spitfire. The map leaderboard presented by Xfinity for Hanamura all time features a ton of Dallas Fuel.
Wow.
On the receiving end of one from the Seoul Dynasty, and then putting up really good times in 2018 and then 2020.
Yeah, it looks like Dallas Fuel are probably out here today to paint that one blue as well. And look, seeing Shax come in probably makes you think, okay, maybe if the Spitfire want to play so much of that sort of Winston Diva, they probably have Shax on the Reaper. Okay, so I find this meta right now is really interesting in terms of how Winston initiates, because so much, especially on the attack, Winston has to do all the scouting. Because usually it's too dangerous for your Echo to sort of peek out and try and look for that info, and you don't have a Tracer or a Sombra. So it's like these little half jumps, like they're trying to, it's almost like attackers sometimes just try and bait a counter dive by just like half jumping forward and, you know, tickling the other Winston a little bit and trying to catch people out of position. So keep that in mind, is that the Spitfire, it's going to be, you know, incumbent upon them to try and find a way to draw Dallas out of formation. Sparkle, though, is on the Ash.
Yes, yeah, so Sparkle on Ash. You'll have a double bubble set up with the Zarya on defense, with a Brig here as well for the Dallas Fuel. You can run the Brig on D. There's no real reason for like the Lucio for the speed boost.
It's a real investment in Fearless, I think, bringing the Zarya instead of the Diva.
Yeah. London will go with a Mercy Batiste. So the Mercy with the damage boost for both the Echo and the Ash, really strong. I like the decision to bring in the Sigma as well. If you're going to play these slow comps, really commit to it.
I would have liked to see the Sigma actually on Junkertown. It might have made it a little bit easy for, you know, to have an off angle set up and actually be able to deal with, you know, that dive. Okay, that's not ideal, Sparkle. Not exactly the sterling debut on the hit scan that he was looking for. And there's no mercy on the side of the Dallas Fuel. The London Spitfire, it's time for them to pounce.
You're inside of this close room, though. It gets so scary, and that's a big biotic grenade. Can you take advantage of it if you're the Dallas Fuel? And it looks like you can.
Okay, I think there's some work to be done here by Hanbin. He actually still has the bubble of the deceased Fearless, but it's the sticky bombs to get the job done. And look, the Spitfire's comp, you know, similarly to last map, it's not fun to dive. That McCree's still an issue, plus you now have the Sigma accretion to stave off any would-be interlopers.
It was so... really fortunate there for London. I think like 4 players got hit with that biotic grenade. It looked like Dallas could have been able to turn that. Will Dallas come back and contest? It looks like they're going to opt to give it up. So Dallas will play for the point B. Really good offense there from London on that first point.
Mercy. Okay, so yeah, it's going to be Mercy Echo now. The Genji picked up again. For the Dallas Fuel, it's a tough one for Sparkle, really. There's a break to deal with. It's still the McCree flash, and again, like I mentioned, there's Sigma's presence, which is a little bit hard to shift if you're Genji. Sparkle will be pretty tentative at first, probably play from longer ranges to start to build that blade up before he has the opportunity to go forward. But it's a Primal Rage here, so Fearless is going to really make things tough for London in terms of playing closely together. We'll see him bust that out soon, I'm sure.
I think just having the Sigma in the mix makes it obviously a little bit harder to play that Genji. That'll be a halt with the Amp Matrix drop down there, and that'll force out the Primal Rage.
Yeah, you really think Harbin gets away with that one, but a halt drags him back into the purview of the Amplification Matrix. But there it is. Every time there's a Primal Rage, it just seems to be an automatic fight win for the Dallas Fuel. Reaper's caught out of position there. It looks like Kellex was hit with that Biotic Grenade. The Genji played from a duplicated Blase. Not able to find the kill on Fearless, and Harbin's back in the fight now, so this just becomes one almighty stagger.
So the sticky bombs take him out at the end there.
Fearless not happy with that.
No, it's just some kills going down on the map here. Obviously, Dallas Fuel going to have a huge advantage in terms of spawn on defense. A lot of ultimates here available for London. Could you set up like a halt with the Gravitic Flux? You're looking at potentially like a grab with a copied... I mean, do you copy the Sigma on the other side? Do you copy like somebody like a Brig? Not a ton of great copy targets.
We saw Doha copy Hardy actually on Junkertown at one point, so I guess that's an option for defenders. I guess it's reasonable. No, okay, Baptiste gets copied here. An extra an Immortality Fuel with otherwise wouldn't have been one seems pretty good for the Fuel, and a potential Amplification Matrix. For Doha, really. It'll be a personal one, if anything. Field has gone down, so having a Baptiste is really important right now, but Sparkle's also gone by the wayside.
Yeah, and they end up investing the rally here, London, is that'll be a Deadeye gets used.
Oh,
but
what?
Shax has to get out of the way really quick. Ends up canceling it. I think he had Fearless in his face. Is being Molfig who drops down trying to get a tick, but it's going to be Fearless that gets on to contest.
Valk for Jexa there, keeps Fearless in fighting form, and now he has a Primal Rage once more. Molfig knocked to the low ground. Immortality Field in a bit of an awkward spot for the Spitfire to benefit from. And Shax has found two. Big difference maker on the McCree so far, but it doesn't look like that's going to quite be enough here. Sparkle sheathes the blade and gets to work with the shurikens. And Blase can really only stand off on that high ground. He can't get involved anymore.
You got some percentage, though, here for London. You end up getting 52%. You guarantee that tick. Hadi will go back to the Orisa. But now you're kind of starting... I mean, well, Dallas Fuel used a ton of ultimates as well. So maybe if you're Blase, you're able to copy Fearless, cause some issues, and try and set up that Deadeye from Shax on the high ground yet again.
Shax looked very good on the McCree so far. Obviously, Hybrid played the McCree in the previous map, but Shax showing that he can cover that role more than adequately. And Deadeye as well, definitely could be nasty. If the Spitfire can get this pole position right now, make use of the double shield, and it's going to be on Dallas to find a way to break through this. Doha has another duplicate here. May not be a Baptiste once more, we'll see. Oh, big Biotic Grenade. That's one of the risks of playing so close together behind the Orisa. And Shax is taken down. I mean, they're right for the picking, Matt. 4 of them are purple, and Sparkle dashes in.
I mean, these Biotic Grenades, it was the same thing during the melee from Fielder. It seems like time and time again, even from like long ranges, basically playing as spawn, able to connect and land on 2, 3, 4 players at a time. Now Dallas Fuel, that fight gives them enough time to build up some just kind of reserves in terms of their ultimates, right? Now they actually have a ton to work with.
Matt, Fielder isn't just ranked as the top support in the league, he is the top overall player in the league according to IBM Watson. And it's big Biotic Grenades like that that are a reason why. Molfig has to desperately go for a defensive Gravitic Flux, and it does catch, but Sparkle's still going to be with the blade, and he gets himself 4. There's no escape, and Molfig knows it. To the sky, Sparkle will go. Won't be chained down, and Hanbin, steals that kill. Sparkle less than pleased, but it don't matter. The Fuel get a team fight win with 50 seconds remaining for the attackers.
I just want to say, don't play Genji in your ranked games. This is not how.
Do not try this at home.
People play. Yeah, looking at you, Brenji. This isn't a call to all Genjis out there to just start insta-locking. I mean, this is just Sparkle dominating the game, just putting on an absolute show. So, there's just nobody like him in the league.
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100 And that's for good reason. Most teams prefer to play safer setups. The Genji is not as safe as playing a Bonafide Hitscan or Reaper in this position. But for the Dallas Fuel, it looks pretty darn good. That one, though, not great. Hanbin sends that one straight into the Dyson. Jax is going to be able to resurrect Hanbin, but Fielder's still out of the mix here, and there's no duplication for an extra flex support available yet. Doha goes down to the Deadeye before he has a chance to use that ultimate. And now the Spitfire are in a good spot. Fearless has no help on the point, and London can move in.
Huge. So London actually gets the map complete. So that's massive for them. You know, finishing with only 52% on that second point would have been really tough for them for the rest of the map. So they end up killing Doha there just as he's able to get a duplicate, which probably saves them, allows them to complete the map. So I think now what does Dallas Fuel decide to play on offense? Do you try and play, you know, Genji Echo Dive here on the offensive side of things? Fully expect to see Jexay on the Lucio here. You're going to need the speed to probably get through the choke. Just kind of... It's really interesting. I think this is another situation where the Dallas Fuel just really hard to read.
You can play Moira Lucio here, I think.
Yeah, maybe you play like the Reaper in the mix if you wanted. I would love to see what happens like Dallas against one of the teams like an Atlanta Reign, who we've seen play a really strong double shield comp on a lot of different maps. How that match would turn out.
That's a great point. The Spitfire seem to have one foot in either camp, Matt, right? It would almost look like in the first map they just preferred to play like a Winston-based comp, and they looked really uncomfortable on Junkertown because Hardy kept getting caught in between the play or just caught on the outside looking in because of all the verticality that the map had. I mean, Hanamura still has plenty of that. Hardy needs to make sure that he is able to stay in the fight, and there's no Lucio here for the Spitfire on defense, unsurprisingly. So there's no, addition to the mobility. Oddly enough, the more legs you have, the less speed you have. It's this inverse relationship that makes very little sense, and Hardy has to find a way to overcome it.
So they'll go with the Genji on offense, and then they'll also play the D.Va here. Need that mobility. They jump right on top of Mulfig, try and get him low, and they take pole position on the point.
Now, okay, so you need a shield cooldown here from Hardy to really get in position to start a contest. So that actually gives a full tick. Just London waiting for those cooldowns. Dallas have lost Fielder though, and that is really going to hurt them here. They'll have to be satisfied with just the tick, I'd say. A D-suit on on the D.Va is pretty tough for them to make anything happen here now. Hardy going down.
They get the second tick, and you still have players alive. Like, London was not able to finish off. I was going to say, no, they were not able to finish off, like, Jexay, Sparkle, and Doha. Like, Sparkle and Doha still in there up on the high ground, trying to wrap their way around towards the point.
Okay, so Hardy is a long way away still. There's no Lucio here. There's no way to taxi him back into the fight, so the Spitfire is short-handed here. Even though they won the previous fight and they've lost Shax already. Oh, they need the Orisa so badly, Matthew. And the Dallas Fuel just lean on in with this Coalescence. Fielder, first casualty of the previous fight, comes back with a vengeance now and is the decider as the Fuel take point A.
Now you come back with a Dragon Blade for Sparkle, Primal Rage, copy. This is going to be tough for the London Spitfire to defend against. This Gravitic Flux has to be big. Maybe like a Supercharger, the Halt, Gravitic Flux. With the way they push, though, in Dallas, it's so fast that sometimes you may not even get an opportunity to get one of those off.
Hardy's going to hold them back into a Flux if possible. It doesn't work. He doesn't hit anyone. Now Molfi gets to go for plan B. He tries to get some value out of the Flux, but it's all gone wrong. He's actually pushing out for this. This is absolutely mad. He gets nothing in that combo, the defensive setup. It's down to Gurgler, man.
And they had a duplicate there used too.
3 ultimates.
Yeah, and now you have Sound Barrier plus the Blade. You have your own duplicate as now the Dallas Fuel go in. They're going to use everything.
So bad. Okay, Deadeye high ground, Deflect prepared, and Shax is able to get rid of Fearless on the way down. Kelix is still falling to the Primal Rage though, and Blase can't stick around. The Coalescence is going to clip his wings proper good. Hardy can sit behind his little portable bunker on the point for the time being, but it's another field of Coalescence that is finding the kills. The Spitfire are getting absolutely hosed down. And they've got to be feeling awful. 3 ultimates spent in the previous fight to get very little value at all. The Doomfist now has to be brought to bear. One of Blase's signature picks, but it doesn't look like much of anything here. Here's the Wrecking Ball for Hardy on the point. Just a little bit of stall, but we all know which way this is going to go. And we've all seen Game of Thrones to know how it ends. One more tick and we'll be donezo here. Molfig desuited. That'll be Reaper desperately trying to throw the nano boost here on a desuited Diva. It's never a good look. Doomfist returning back to the fray once more, and Doha should be able to find the cleanup here. Reaper knocked off the point just a little more, and the fuel will be home and ready. Doha trying to get the hosing part of that one sorted. And there it is. Listen, it dwindled a little bit there, but the Dallas fuel, you knew it. 2 fights ago, you knew it.
Could have been worse.
It's not good.
London
it's
come
really
out, they stall for about 30 to 40 seconds. As when they start making progress on that point, on the second point, there's like 4 minutes 30 plus on the clock. So they keep it going for a while. Still, it puts London in a tough position. You have to hold them from a tick with 3:45 on the clock. Not looking good here for the London Spitfire. They got to come up with some magic.
And not just your garden variety magic, Matthew. Not your pulling a rabbit out of the hat kind of magic. This is the being cut in half, multiple team fights, and being able to put yourself back together kind of magic. The Houdini kind of magic. Escaping from the unescapable situation, which is the Dallas Fuel just sweeping this series and the Spitfire under the rug. They're going to start with they're going to play the double shield here, as we sort of saw beforehand, and took Dallas a little bit to sort of find that foothold on point A. Again, it was really hard getting picked off in one fight and just not being there for the next. You can't risk taking Lucio here as a defender. So you really get punished for losing any players in this first fight. This is really set up for the attackers to eventually be able to bowl you over.
Especially when you lose players early, if you're London, and then you let the players for the Dallas Fuel just kind of linger on your side of the map. It forced them in such a weird position last time. It looks like here they give up the choke completely. They don't play like the Sigma at the high ground. They play him on the low ground to the side with the McCree. This is going to give Dallas a really good opportunity to just dive right onto the point. They're trying to find one player out of position.
Sparkle deflex there for a moment. The bell is being used here to break up some of this poke damage.
Well, no, they're just building up Coalescence. I mean, that's what's happening. The Fearless stepping onto the point, not even putting a bubble down.
It's already got
getting low. Oh. Yeah, they're building up Coalescence here. Now they're going to go.
Oh, God. Master Roshi would be proud. Here's the Coalescence. Filter interrupt, although huge accretion from Molfig. Molfig been that small point of brightness here for the London Spitfire so far in this series, but it takes more than one. No, it takes a whole village. Sparkle dashes through. Kellex down. Molfig already removed, and Shax is just not in a great position to succeed. The flashbang goes awry, and so do the Spitfire's plans. That's about as one-sided as you could ask for a series to be.
Really fast series. I mean, that is Dallas Fuel taking what they did in the main melee and bringing it in here to the June Joust. It's a lot of different interesting compositions that they use. A lot of Genji play from the Dallas Fuel today, which we don't see from a lot of rosters. It's really only them that can do it, or really them that have to do it at this high level until we see Pine join the team. But it doesn't impact them today against London. They make quick work of the Spitfire.
Jexa looks absolutely unimpressed from what he's seen so far from the London Spitfire. And I mean, you kind of called that at the start of that fight. The win condition is just get Fielder that Coalescence. And Fielder, more so known for his Ana play, that flashy style with his long-range biotic grenades and these really unlikely sleep darts. He's just getting it done. He's just doing the dirty work now. Building up Coalescence, allowing his team to take their poke damage. And the London Spitfire think, well, Matt, they just back up to the point and say, we have one chance at this realistically. But they have to have known that a Coalescence would come knocking eventually.
Yeah, and what do you do there if you're London? You can't just let Fearless walk onto the point and just stand there and not put any damage down on him. You have to kind of contest. You have to force him back off the point. It's a difficult position for London to play from.
And a player match today presented by Xfinity is a player who's been able to pull out a bit of a unique pick considering Dallas's unique circumstances. It's going to be Sparkle. Some real high-flying trapeze artist Genji action so far in this series, sometimes assisted by the nano boost, but always very, very dangerous. The amount of 4-5k blades that he's getting in a meta where Genji is completely overlooked. He looks like a nice little niche pocket pick for Dallas, and it's fun to see him back in action again.
Just another great nano target for Fielder, right? We talked about how good he is on the Ana, being able to get these nano blades to pretty much fight wins, being able to nano the Winston with Fearless. Two really strong win conditions for the Dallas Fuel in a lot of fights. Not many other teams are doing this. Not really any other teams are doing this. And
Oh my
you
gosh.
see his stats on the Genji. I mean, just absolutely farmed today. I mean, that is one where you look back and it's like, hey, I can have a bad series now because I padded my stats in this one. As the Genji stats are disgusting.
It's ridiculous. That's across the entire series as well. We congratulate
8 Dragon
players.
Blade kills per 10 minutes.
Yep, that's messed up. We congratulate players, by the way, for getting 10 final blows per 10 minutes. That's like a really good benchmark. Sparkle has completely blown that out of the water. And that should really indicate to you just how outclassed the London Spitfire were in this matchup. Sparkle obviously is playing against Sigma, McCree, and Brigitte, and is still able to get an unbelievable... I'd love to know kills per Dragon Blade, just out of interest here. I'd wager it's at least 2. So the fact that he's able to succeed against a bunch of heroes that are designed to dissuade anyone diving or to make it really punishing for anybody to try and close the gap on this double shield setup. Man, I mean, I'm feeling pretty bad if I'm London. I also...
Yeah.
I'm not too hard on myself because should I expect to deal with Genji and all this Moira play? Maybe they just weren't ready.
I think if you're London, you'd obviously in a loss like to take some stuff from the series. I think if you're London, you kind of have to look back at this and be like, hey, we did not play well at all, any facets of the game, right? Just kind of chalk this one off. You got ran into a team that obviously won the last tournament, and maybe you learn some things you can bring into one of the next series. There's not really much to take from this one where you can say like, hey, I think we did this really well. Let's build upon that. I think you kind of learn from this and hopefully take it into the next series.
I mean, you're 0-7 now, Matthew. That's as simple as that. It's not been the kind of run that the Spitfire wanted to start this season. This is the fourth fastest of the year only? Fourth fastest match of the year. So there have actually been faster matches than this one, and quite a few of them, which is kind of insane. But definitely like a pretty brief affair. And maybe just that Hanamura extra back and forth is sort of what dragged things out a little bit there. But
I think it does kind of speak to the level of competition, though, in NA and how strong the top is, right? With teams, like the Dallas Fuel, the Houston Outlaws, the Shock. A lot of these teams have been able to make quick work of the teams underneath.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. The Dallas Fuel, though, of course, this is great. I mean, they would love to have a clean qualifying stage and not have to worry too much about a weaker seeding when they head into the actual knockouts themselves. But something tells me, Matthew, I don't think they mind who they go up against in that part of the season. When you're the Dallas Fuel, the Overwatch League is your oyster. And I think, again, with someone like Sparkle able to pull out performances like that, Doha, someone that we didn't really have to spend too much time talking about. He was really, we see he's out there copying Baptistes and stuff like that. So really focusing on just trying to provide that utility that he often does. We're going to head to a break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, there's much more of the Overwatch League today, of course, kicking off week 2 here of the June Joust in quite explosive fashion.
All right, welcome to Game Break presented by Cheez It Grooves. We're joined by Doha from Dallas Fuel. 도하 선수 안녕하세요.
안녕하십니까.
Alright, so Doha, my first question for you is, you guys were able to watch the first week of June Joust tournament before you played your first match today. How did you use the first week to your advantage? 오늘 이제 어떻게 보면 이제 6월 토너먼트에 들어오면서 첫 번째 주를 쉬고 두 번째 주부터 첫 경기를 오늘 처음으로 치르게 되셨는데 좀 그 쉬는 일주일을 좀 어떻게 사용을 하셨나요?
일단 뱀픽이 없었는데 생기다 보니까 저희 팀만의 조합을 찾느라 시간을 좀 많이 썼던 것 같아요. 그거 빼고는 이제 우리만의 조합을 찾고 이제 그것만 연습했던 것 같아요.
Alright, I think we used most of the first week of the June Joust tournament sort of really carefully analyzing what's the best comp that's suitable for Dallas Fuel. Other than that, I think there's nothing more to it. The most time that we used as Dallas Fuel team were probably sort of thinking about the band picks that were happening in the June Joust and also picking out like what the best composition is going to be for our team. Talking about teams and compositions, my second question is sort of on that line as well. We've seen a variety of different comps and heroes being played in the June Joust. What are your thoughts on the current meta? Sorry, there's a little delay, so I'm gonna have to wait. Alright, 이제 두 번째 질문이 아까 말씀하신 조합 얘기에 좀 관한 건데 이제 아무래도 이제 6월 토너먼트에 들어오면서 좀 다양한 조합과 좀 많은 영웅들을 저희가 보게 된 것 같아요. 도하 선수가 보시기에는 좀 이제 지금 현재 메타에 대해서 좀 어떻게 생각하시는지?
메타는 솔직히 정해진 건 없고 오버워치라는 게임에서 그 팀이 잘하는 색깔을 최고로 이제 잘 소화하면 그게 메타인 것 같아요. 그래서 뭐 딱히 정해진 건 잘 모르겠고 그냥 메타는 그냥 잘하는 팀이 만들어 나가는 거다 정도?
Alright, so I believe, in my personal opinion, I don't think there's, as of right now, not a set composition or a set meta in the June Joust tournament. I feel like meta is something that a really good team could make, and whatever composition they feel the most comfortable and the composition that they are good at, that's gonna be the meta for that team. It's basically like what color sort of matches your team. That's what the current meta is. Alright, Doha, thank you so much for your time and good luck in your next game. 도하 선수 오늘 너무나 수고 많으셨고요. 다음에 또 뵙도록 하겠습니다.
봐주셔서 감사합니다. 별 화이팅.
Alright, thank you so much. Let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Doha. Thank you, Danny. You also passing the test of the speech jammer. So congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
That was tough.
Deep breath.
That was. Thank you guys. I tried my best.
No, you nailed it. I'm very, very impressed. Now, okay, Doha says you just have to, play to your comfort zone, play to your comfort picks, and once again, it did look like that's exactly what the Dallas Fuel are doing. We saw a lot of Genji. Sparkle had an absolute field trip. Costa, what were your overall thoughts on the compositions you saw from the Dallas? Do you like it, or is it risky? What are we feeling?
It's really hard to get a real sense of if this is going to work. No slight against the London Spitfire, but they just didn't have an answer. They just couldn't match up mechanically, it felt like, in this matchup. Even on the first map, on Nepal, where we saw pretty much mirror compositions, they just weren't strong enough. So then we went onwards from there. As soon as Sparkle picked up that blade, I knew it was going to get spicy. And somehow, Sparkle just seems to consistently make it work on whatever hero he plays, but also the entire Dallas Fuel team playing so well around it. It's just so impressive to see, but I don't know how much longer it's going to work. We've seen a lot of teams try to play this Genji style in last weekend's matches and very little amount of success. So Dallas is the first team to succeed with it on such a big way. How is that going to work with them in the rest of this June Joust? Because as much as this was an easy one, they're going to have harder ones. And as Doha said himself, play to your strengths. Play to what you think the meta is and what you're going to succeed with. Dallas is doing that once again in the June Joust. Are they going to be able to have the same melee results?
Yeah, you just gotta find your color. There was some real Little Mermaid thing there. Find a color that suits you. Reinforce, how do you feel about the compositions we saw from Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, it worked spectacularly for them, right? They know how to play this dive. You got Fearless on Winston and then Sparkle, of course, playing that Genji. Costa covered it. That being said, though, Lone Spitfire, they mirrored that composition. They played that against the Dallas Fuel, which I don't think was maybe the greatest idea. Then again, it seems to be what they practiced and what they feel comfortable at, the Lone Spitfire, that is. That being said, we don't know how this Dallas Fuel composition is going to work against the better teams who are playing some other compositions, like the Atlanta Reign, for example. Atlanta Reign has been really good so far in the June Joust. How are Dallas Fuel, with the Winston and the Genji composition, going to fare against some of these other teams playing perhaps a more stable Orisa composition? I still think we'll have to wait and see the answer. I don't think Dallas Fuel are the clear-cut favorites of the June Joust, but just by this match alone or their main melee performances. The meta is going to evolve, so we'll see if any teams can actually counter the Dallas Fuel and what they're cooking right now.
Absolutely. Now, it is Crunch Time presented by Cheesy Grooves, and the Gladiators. They came into the season with very high expectations, but unfortunately, they did not end up looking as crisp and crunchy as we all expected them to see. They couldn't even qualify for the May Melee, so now they will have to play their first match ever since April 24th, so they've been on a bit of a break, Reinforce.
Wow. Yeah, they have been on a bit of a break, and it was needed for this team, as you said. 2-2 for the Los Angeles Gladiators in the main melee, and that's not really what they wanted going into the season. This was arguably a team that was top 2 in power rankings in the North American region for many analysts and community members alike. So obviously falling short in the main melee qualification was not what you wanted to see from the Los Angeles Gladiators. That said though, their losses was against the San Francisco Shock and the Dallas Fuel. So in hindsight, pretty formidable opponents for the Los Angeles Gladiators. So the fact they went 2-2, yes, it was a bit disappointing because of the high standards we had of the LA Gladiators, but at the same time, you know, it happens. They had 2 really tough opponents, and they have a chance for redemption here in the June Joust.
Also, I just want to point out that I don't know if you guys all knew, but today's Mr. Birdring's birthday. So I'm guessing that he's gonna have a very crunchy game today by receiving that birthday buff.
Birthday buff.
Is that a thing?
I don't know.
Yes, henceforth it will be birthday buff. I mean, you don't want to lose on your birthday. Like, that's a double L. Wouldn't want that.
Well, you also just don't want to lose ever. So is this like double don't want to lose on your birthday, I guess? So, but Bettering's pretty good. Look at the stats.
Yep.
He's good.
Bettering's pretty good.
Looking good.
Surprising, he's
is.
pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good indeed. Now, of course, we're ready for that match. We can't wait to see this first showing for the Gladiators in the June Joust. And for all the action, we once again send it over to the second most entertaining Aussie duo, right below the Naked Magicians, Uber Mr. X. Yeah, I know Mr. X is not technically Australian, but he's Australian by marriage. Does that count?
Listen, Matt is a magician. He could disappear into any item of clothing that's bigger than extra small. You just won't see him. That, I think, is a gift.
It's true. Very, very true. I have no idea who these naked Australian magicians are.
You don't?
Do any of the Australians here want to inform me?
There's 24 million of us. Like, sorry, no, I don't know the name.
Lots of naked magicians in Australia.
So
are they actually naked? Are they? That's why they're called naked.
No, trust me, no. The sun is a bit brutal over there. I'm pretty sure we weren't clothes if we had the choice. So, all getting bitten by mozzies all the time. So I don't think we'd really fancy
let's get a close-up on Custa, the Australian.
Yes.
It's like, that guy's Australian. Put him on.
I mean, okay, he's wearing a shirt. You know the tagline of the Naked Magicians? Their tagline is good magicians don't need sleeves and great magicians don't need pants. So for all we know, neither Mitch nor Costa are currently wearing some because they're working their magic here in the show.
Don't need
right.
Working from home.
That's where I'm going.
That's right.
Where is this going?
For all you know, I am pantsless. I could be a magician myself. All right, we'll stick around because I'm pretty sure one of these teams is going to have to be a magician to avoid just getting rolled. I think by the Gladiators. I think the Titans here definitely have a tall order against them. But Matt, this is the first time that these two rosters have actually played here in the June Joust. So we haven't really seen anything from them except primarily like McCree, May, the Ryan Baptiste sort of rush comp at Lucia that we saw in May. So these guys have had some time off, the Gladiators more so. So who knows what to expect from these two teams? And obviously the Titans have recently made a roster change.
Yeah, you did have Shredlock retire. They bring in Chengsik. But I think the story about this match will be the Gladiators. They were a team that everybody thought really highly of going into the Melee. Some people even predicted them to win the league. And they didn't even make the knockouts. They played quite poor. So for me, it's the Gladiators. How do they look here against the Titans, a team which they should be able to handle, especially bringing in a new main tank? It should be a winnable game for the Gladiators, but I want to see how they play.
Absolutely. Look, Matt, I think we got to see some of Birdring's Ashe stats, and they're actually really quite good. So he's up there as one of the sort of top Ashe players. We know what Kevster is capable of, right? And Mirrorweight's in the wing, so there's definitely no concern about the DPS potential. Muse comes in, and people are already crowing about him being a Rookie of the Year candidate, right? Shu is an absolute freak beast as a support player, so no one looks at this team and goes, they're middling. But again, the Gladiators in classic style ended their melee run in very inauspicious, very middling fashion. This is where they can turn up, start of the June Joust, make a big statement, and look to actually be a real part of those knockouts. The Vancouver Titans, obviously, we've recently heard of the retirement of Shredlock, so Chungsik gets brought into this team. And I think many people probably remember Chungsik from the very successful Philadelphia, the Fusion University roster in Contenders, right? I don't know. No, I don't know for sure where he's playing from. I would suggest that Chunks is probably playing from South Korea at the moment. But I can't sort of confirm nor deny that. A big change, though, for this team, Matt, to be sure.
Absolutely. Anytime you change your main tank is one of the most, if not the most, focal point of a team. One thing to note as well for the Gladiators, no Moth here early on, so probably not expecting some Lucio play. Probably expecting to see some, more Batiste, maybe even some Brig type of shenanigans from the Glads, but he'll also be the first map.
Yeah, so wouldn't you expect to see Lucio here?
It kind of depends on what they want to play. You would also think Moth would be in if you wanted to play Mercy, right? So maybe there's some other different type of compositions that they want to run. Things that they mentioned on the desk, but they've been off for basically a month, so they've had a lot of time to be able to work on some interesting stuff.
Here we go. We're going to jump in just a moment. Of course, Linksa, a player who always plays above the performance of his team generally. His statistics indicate that he's a pretty darn solid DPS player, but it has struggled to be on rosters that, as a whole, have achieved great results. And Teru is a very promising prospect. We saw a lot of Mei from Teru. He played a ton of Mei in the Mei Melee, unsurprisingly. So this is a chance now to maybe see him branch out from that, as Mei's a little bit less sought after now in this sort of higher mobility or double shield style of play. And yeah, we get to see that Echo, of course, which is something that he looked quite good on at times as well.
So with the Gladiators, I fully expect them to run this type of support line. If you're not going to have Moth in the game, you're probably putting in the skew to play some Brig, whether you're going to play some Baptiste type of setups as well. So you'll have the Ana with the Brig here to kick things off. Kevser potentially could go over and play the Echo, so you could have a Echo McCree here. Going up against the Echo Reaper. So the rush kind of composition coming in here for the Titans.
Interesting. There is also an Azaya on the side of the Gladiators here, which is, obviously a fantastic pick for space, but also means that Muse is probably going to get a little bit of extra attention and those bubbles. Whereas Fried Wiener probably is trying to do more to help Linksa stay alive in the front line with that defense. Well, that didn't work out too well, did it? The idea was there, but the execution lacked.
I would love to know as well how long Changsik has been playing with this team. I feel like to come out and try and play a dive with a new main tank, and let's say you've only been playing a week, and maybe he's playing from afar like you mentioned, I feel like that's tough. I mean, even if that's kind of the composition you want to run, you've got to put yourself in an easier position, at least to ease into it here at first.
I'd suggest it's been days. As far as I can tell, we don't really know how much notice was sort of given by Shredlock, or sort of.
I believe a decent amount of time. Yeah, I don't think it was.
That's a big bite of grenade. Teru has to back away from that one, and the Titans can't really get aggressive yet. You see Lynx is trying to work that left-hand side and actually pressure the point properly. And they're waiting on the Coalescence, so they get that. They take a lot of poke damage in order to do so, but they'll be able to move on to the point, just take it like that. The Gladiators just have to bend and accept that they don't want to fight this Coalescence, but Shu has a nano boost here and he sends it straight to Muse.
And I thought Space was going to go down and contest the point. That'll be Linkster who takes out Bird Ring as Muse with the Primal Rage getting back towards the point. This should be flipped back in the Gladiators' favor rather quickly. Just a little bit of percentage here earned by the Vancouver Titans. The biggest part there for the Glads is they didn't have to burn that grab here. So you're going to have grab this next fight. Grab, Deadeye. Not the classic of combos, but still something you could use here. Try and get value from Bird Ring's ult.
I'm still going to make it tough for Chunksy to get close. Whichever way you slice it. I mean, there you go.
From such a distance.
I guess I would if I was him. Just for that extra bit of safety and also getting decent sightlines on Teru because he's going to be coming in. Deadeye immediately. Defensive Deadeye as we may be expected to see. Try to win against desuited and Birdring is playing ultra safe from that high ground position. But Scoot gets taken down by Linkser, who finds yet another. With a sound barrier of fire, the Titans are here and they're ready to brawl.
It's no opportunity for a grab from Space. I tell you what, the Titans have looked better than I almost expected a series kind of like what we just saw. And I think if you're a Gladiator fan, that's kind of what you would want to see, right? This team, hit their stride, assert their kind of dominance over a team that, the Titans kind of find themselves obviously 0-4, like near the bottom of the ranks in NA. But the Titans have put up a really good fight thus far.
Lynx are pressured, duplicated Diva from Kevster, the self-destruct is also there. Rolf's taken down, both teams have lost their main healers, but having Lynxer out of the mix here means that now the Titans don't really benefit from that sort of longer fight. In fact, they really are going to struggle in these next few moments. Deadeye from Birdring gets Teru, good cleanup as Fire is also found, and the Gladiators are back in control as the percentage was approaching even.
So now for the Gladiators, rally. They still have this grab. Maybe you're just trying to get FRD demech'd and then use it, but you've had it for, 3-4 fights now. You probably would have gotten another one by now.
Especially
we'll see how they decide to use it, yeah.
Especially Teru duplicating a Diva, I guess maybe you don't feel... Oh no, he duplicated Chunksy actually, so that wasn't even an extra deterrent from using that ultimate from space. At some point, there has to be a grab. Ideally this next fight, just to end the round. Shu's close to a nano boost here as well. The timing is so fortuitous for the Gladiators right now, and that's a darn good Violent Grenade. Perfect target as well. Get rid of the Diva mech, and so you can find an easier Graviton Surge. It's fired off here by Space, and there's the Death Blossom. Linkser, but we can't stave away the Gladiators even with that ultimate. Trying to win her out of the mech, and will be removed. It's going to be a duplicator Winston with Primal, and a sound barrier provided by Fire. Rolf's also here with a Coalescence. Wonder maybe there's a world where you can layer those support ultimates less here, and the Titans, even with all that extra durability, that survivability, they can't stay alive in this round.
Now, as the Gladiators will take our first point, it's one thing to watch for the remainder of the series is the compositions these two teams play. A lot of what we saw in that first week kind of looked like it was tending towards more double shield. This week, especially in the last series, we saw a lot of Winston, I know even some, like a Risa Diva at times. See if these two teams kind of break that mold as well and want to play more Winston-based kind of compositions.
Yeah, that was our conclusion coming out of last week. I think Custer said it best. He said, "Oh, look, I think the reality is that you have to play double shield right now." In fairness, we saw the abilities of double shield teams like Houston and Atlanta showcased a lot last week. But in the APAC region, Matt, this is the comp. In fact, sometimes you're seeing Arta Mercy with the double dive tanks in many cases. So this is what Chongji's doing, this is what Philly's doing. A lot of the teams just want to play with mobility, even without sort of Tracer and Sombra in the mix here. A little harder to shut down the Winston without Sombra, I guess. And Wrecking Ball also stronger for that reason. The Gladiators here still have Birdring on the McCree, so defensive options still with that good mid-range hit scan pressure.
And the Titans have kind of put themselves in by that health pack and haven't been able to get out yet. This time they go straight to the high ground. This is a rough position because what do you get out of your Moira there? The Moira obviously can't access that. Yeah. The Moira just stuck on the low ground. They're still looking like they're trying to make this work though, as they've gotten Linkser in position to take out Birdring. Nobody in control of the point just yet. Looks like the Titans, though, they have the player advantage. They might be able to get there.
I love that from Linkser, who's been quietly overachieving so far in this map. He links up perfectly with Chungsik on the high ground after getting rid of Teru solo, essentially on the low ground. So good start for the Titans. Linkser just has to avoid Birdering's flash and Skewed, just stunning him up constantly. But look at the support ultimates here built up by the Gladiators. They have both. And again, Muse and a Nano Boost is always a bad combo if you're the Titans. And we'll see Birdering as a safe angle. No one looking at him right now. In a good position here just to get free unanswered damage. The Flashbang fan combo. Death Blossom here for Linkser. He realizes there's no flash available, but it doesn't matter. The uncontested Reaper ultimate finds absolutely nothing because of that defense matrix, Matt.
Yeah, so you end up losing the first fight for the Gladiators, but you end up building up both of those support ultimates, which end up coming out on top. Now you've built up the Primal Rage with the use of the Nano. You have Kevster with a duplicate. We'll see what the Titans try and do with this sound barrier. The sound barrier coming in here for fire. Could engage with that. We've seen them do that, and other teams do that quite often, especially when the aggression could come in quick with the Primal Rage and the duplicate.
Terry will be looking. Double Winston. Yeah. Double trouble. Monkey magic. Okay, so Body Grenade hits Chungsik early in the fight there, but it doesn't really seem to bother him. This is a bad place to be if you're the Los Angeles Gladiators right now. Good work by Skew to create some spacing, but has to give up his life in order to do so. And Matt, that fight really only goes one way once you see the target of the duplication by Teru.
Yeah, I mean, once he gets the duplicate onto the Winston, you have Chungsik up there on the high ground. You're able to cause a lot of trouble, as this is going to be sound barrier here, and this is just Kevster in space, but because of that kill that goes down, you feel like you need to use that ultimate to sustain. They try and use a speed boost behind it, and they can't get any kills. This should be good for the Gladiators.
This has to be coalescence now as well from the Titans. They don't really get what they were looking for with the sound barrier, so they're forced to use two of their support ultimates in very short space of one another, and may still not win the fight. Linkser there just gets put in the cone of silence by Space's defense matrix, and now Space is freed up to clean up the fight. I really think right now, based on how we've seen teams play this meta, Matt, that D defense matrix is so important, not only to shut down Reaper, but also to facilitate your own.
And that call by the Titans to use the support ultimates there, I actually think that's the right call. You lose Teru, which is such a large source of damage, and you know that it's Kevster in space there with nobody else. They use the sound barrier, keep everybody topped up, push through those players, take them out, and then you still have that man advantage and you still have the point. The issue is Space and Kevster do such a great job reading it and get out of the way.
Diva duplicator for Kevster, in he goes.
A huge biotic grenade here.
Yeah, absolutely ruined. Fire won't be able to stay alive to that one at all. And there you see the problem for Linkser. Okay, Death Blossom. There's two divas. How many? That's like how many seconds? That's 8 seconds of defense matrix, I think. 6, maybe. There's no way you're getting anything done, and you're in the middle of the enemy formation with your ultimate being shut down.
All right, we're fighting this.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, that is a duplicate there. Deadeye used to just prevent them from coming out. So I mean, and that's a huge ultimate there that you end up using.
Birdering gets singled out here. Yeah, Muse went to point, but probably needs to peel back for his backline, and it's a pretty good timing here for Skewed to go for a rally. Birdering had to get given a nano boost there, and I'm convinced it was just for the defensive aspect of it. He was getting pressured very, very heavily, and the Titans flip back the point somehow, despite being able to play at a disadvantage, so that's one way of delaying what may well be the inevitable here, is the Gladiators are back in control, and Lynx is down. Sound barrier is used here, but Fire's put to sleep right after. This is a disaster situation for Vancouver.
Oh yeah, and Chengdu gets hit with a big purple as another biotic grenade comes in from Shu. As Linkser had to go back and take the point. There was nobody else there for the Titans. And the Gladiators just have to not fight him first, take out some players over by the health pack, then wrap back towards the point. Linkser will get one with a Widow at the end, but not enough, as it'll be the Gladiators who take map number 1.
If Vancouver want a W or breadsticks, they're probably not going about it in the best way right now. A tough start for them, despite the fact they bring the Echo in. Teru, who really is quite powerful on that role. They get a double Winston duplication. They duplicate a Diva at times. But it's the Gladiators who look like they're a bit more comfortable and even get away with playing Zarya in that first round. These two teams want to play Winston-based compositions. It's definitely going to be exciting. Let's see if the Titans can make their take on the meta work in map 2 in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Treadlock now into the back line and gets with them both support.
Up over the top, gets a double.
And here's a coalescence from the high ground for Rolf. And wow, the timing on that one looks so good.
Really.
The fire gets two. That is crazy. Time and a great stick from Dal. That's three from him.
That's crazy. They make it one.
That's right. The newest addition to the list for the Vancouver Titans is none other than Changxik, who maybe for newer fans is not a super known name, but one of the most successful teams in North American contenders was definitely Fusion University, and this gentleman was at the helm back in 2019, and obviously prior to that, Chengdu Panthers. So that's 2018. That's quite a while. Changxik getting the recall here to replace Shredlock, of course, who has announced his retirement. And look, Matt, you kind of pointed it out. You said, I mean, it's pretty daring to play dive with a player that may not have been practicing with the team for so long, but in general, he looks pretty darn good. I don't know if we go too much further than serviceable at this stage because it's very early days, but the Titans had some bite in them in that map of Ilios.
Yeah, I didn't think the Titans looked that bad on Ilios, to be quite honest. I thought their performance was pretty good considering what kind of team we view the Gladiators as. And we can jump right back into game. It'll be Junkertown for map number 2. This one gives the Titans a little bit more of a chance, right? You can play Linkster on the Widowmaker, allow him to try and take these duels with Birdring.
And again, we saw Junkertown already earlier on today, where the Dallas Fuel definitely had a different take on the meta, one that suited them quite comfortably. We are going to see Vancouver Titans start on defense, and we'll know what kind of composition they're trying to play. This would be interesting indeed. Soldier 76, Reaper. We have Orisa with Diva, which is not so crazy, I guess, if if Fried maybe wants to have that extra mobility that maybe you don't get. Also trying to control the right-hand side where Teru's just teleported to. It's really important to have some extra off-angle presence there as defenders. But the legs, Matt. Talk to me about the legs.
So this could be, because remember when we saw in the previous match with the Dallas U in London, where they had the Widowmaker and you played from such a far distance that you were able to get dove on pretty quickly.
Yeah.
With the legs, you can play a little bit closer. You're more mobile than, let's say, a McCree. More consistent damage, but they're going to play really close to the door here, so... No Moth coming in here for the Gladiators, so just point that out. So you're still playing the Brig. This time, no Ana. You're going to be playing the Batiste.
Everyone has such a slightly different look. So interesting so far to see how this June Joust meta looks. Linkser can always run back to Junksik, by the way, if he feels threatened. The legs are good for that, oddly enough. But yeah, we'll see the Titans playing pretty close to start with here. Space just trying to puzzle a way out of this, just to try and unravel this setup. And with Rolf going down, that'll do it. That's the pick they're looking for.
Yeah, that's a lot of the healing. That's what kind of gives you the ability to sustain on the cart. Once you lose the Moira, you have to back out, no matter all the damage that's going on in the back. Let's see if they commit to this yet again. Do you keep playing the Soldier? Is it something you just wanted at the start of the game? Potentially try and get close to the spawn door. So, at least from what it looks like now, Linkster will come out again here on the 76.
Yep, again, if the concern's trying to get back in position quickly. By the way, obviously Lucio Moira here still for the Titans, like you mentioned, so very different support setup to what the Gladiators have so far. But Birdring, by the way, is like number 2 in Dynamite kills last stage, or in the main melee, should I say, so he's pretty accurate when it comes to those. Gonna force Linkser out of line of sight. Linkser can't do anything in his position, by the way. This negates Soldier 76's presence completely.
And he also gets outranged here. Like, consistent damage from the Soldier is nice, but at far distances, you're going to lose to this Ashe every single time. So Linkser will switch. Going to play the Hangzhou. Interesting, he doesn't want to play like an Ashe of his own, even trying to play the Widow. It's 2 heroes Linkser's very strong at. His Hangzhou's good as well, but the Hangzhou really kind of values like the shield break here. Maybe you're able to break the shield, get the... You're still playing the Lucio with the Moira, even with the Orisa, so maybe you're just trying to get the Orisa and the Reaper like behind Muse's shield, put some pressure on the supports.
FRD, always chewing, playing in the front here, and Linkser gets picked off. I mean, he switches to Hangzhou here, hoping to make use of the verticality on this second part of the map, but Kevster just runs him down. It's a tough job for Linkser right now, who doesn't seem to have found a DPS hero in this match that he's really comfortable on. Kevster's forced back for a time, but the Titans keep losing players right at the start. First it was their Moira, second it was their Hangzhou, and being at a player disadvantage this whole map really hasn't helped.
Yeah, and they still run, after the sound barrier here, you'll still have the Lucio Moira composition. If you're going to play the Reaper, you kind of need it, unless you're going to play like Dive, right, with the Winston and the Diva, but doesn't seem what the Titans want to do here on Junkertown. So the Gladiators will have Rally here. Kevster will have this duplicate. You're probably going to get an Amp Matrix as well. That's a supercharger that comes out here from Chengsik. Kick things off.
Oh.
Teru thought he was being sneaky there. They saw him right away.
Yeah, homie ain't slick. They know he was there the whole time. There's a rally in play and a Brigitte looking to get the bash on. Chunksik goes down to the self-destruct here, and that's a big problem. No tanks here for Vancouver. And to point 2, they'll say, thanks for the memories.
All right, so now they switch you and they'll play the Winston. I like this composition much better with the Winston with the Lucio and the Moira just like synergizes better. You don't really like. We talked about this the other last week. I think we casted a team that we saw run the Orisa with the Moira and the Lucio, and it felt so out of whack that they tried to run it here. It doesn't really work. This will be a Dragon from Linkser. That's like from the spawn, so just trying to split players off, which they're able to do, but Bob creates enough space that they're able to keep the card going.
Kevster wants to try and get a perch up here, and space is going to help him just for a moment. Constantly looking towards Muse, just making sure that the Orisa is okay, and that defense matrix just a little bit too late. Linkser comes alive now. Storm Arrows have found 2 kills already. Great way to end a fight before it really begins. Teru may have fallen, this could still turn around. Rolf's gone down, and it's all gone wrong. The Gladiators, they're ready to receive this push from the Titans. Oh, Linkser just says, what more do I have to do?
Supercharged down, and then the Brig just swinging on through. That is a dangerous combination. Skewed builds up another rally here. So rally, you have the self-destruct to buy some space. I believe Teru's up on the high ground behind them, trying to set up for the big Death Blossom.
Okay, Chunksic goes in, and the Gladiators are able to disengage, despite lacking a Lucio pretty easily here. Muse soaks up most of Rolf's Coalescence damage, and the Titans look no better than they started. They still at least have a sound barrier, so those support ultimates could go a long way. But how does this self-destruct work? Okay, it gets Birdring here. He's pressured, and there's nowhere to run, especially with Chunksic that's all over him. And Terry's able to find a Death Blossom here on the carpet, goes down to the self-destruct. This is messy stuff from both sides. But the point is that Skewed is able to sit here on the cart, and their focusing beam means that there's no tanks again. And the Gladiators add an extra one to their ranks with a duplicate from Kevster on a Diva, and he's already built up that self-destruct. He could have 2 if he wants. Yeah, fire taken down, desperate stalling there, that's all he can really do. And that's a force back. That's the Gladiators getting across the line with, frankly, a decent amount of time to work with.
Not as good as the Dallas Fuel, but still really strong. As the Brig really pays off when the Titans are trying to dive in. The Supercharger with the Brig just swinging there with the Muse. Skewed was able to really keep them going for a while. Just the amount of Inspire healing plus just damage from Brig, being able to build up those rallies pretty quick. Ended up being a lot for the Titans to deal with. The Titans always, like, they kind of seemed in the middle of 2 compositions, right? They weren't exactly trying to play slow, but they couldn't exactly speed things up in the fashion that you would like them to see. I thought they were getting better effects with the speed boosts and whatnot when they actually had the Winston in the mix than the Orisa. So let's see what they decide to play here on offense. Potentially you can bring the Widowmaker in. We'll take a look at a replay here. This is from Skewed's POVs. This is what I was talking about. This looks like I believe this is when Linkser got the double.
Yeah.
And then the Supercharger goes down here, and just, I mean, look at this. I mean, that's 50% roll charge in just that small span.
There's no rally, there's no nano boost either, you know? It's just he's actually shield dancing Muse's barrier really effectively, and he gets the bash straight away on Teru's Reaper, who, I mean, that's really the main hero that's supposed to thrive for the Titans in that situation. That's the issue we're dealing with Brig as well. The Titans are playing Lucio Moira, so they don't really have a great answer to shut down someone getting into their backline like the Gladiators do with this comp. It's a very safe setup for Los Angeles again here.
Well, now the Titans commit to this double shield, so they won't play the Lucio, they won't play the Diva, Orisa Sigma, Matisse with the Brig. And this is really about letting your Widowmaker trying to take over the game. Linkser against Birdring. This is like a classic Season 1 throwback.
Absolutely.
Widowmaker matchup.
It's like a Houston-London game.
Yeah.
Birdring spots Linkser there. I mean, these two, in fairness, were considered to be top of their class during their heydays. Mostly around Season 1, to be fair, for both of them. And we'll see what Birdring does here. Again, he's very, very safe. Obviously, the Gladiators wants to really only take fights where Birdring has purview. The Titans made a mistake when they were defending of having Linkser up on the high ground, but then fighting inside this room for no apparent reason and really nullifying the presence of the Soldier Mat.
And the Titans are working for an angle here on the side. Like, they're trying to get FRD here, trying to get a shield up in the way, and they make it around the corner. They're able to do it with space. But the rest of the fight that goes down on the card, they're not coming out on top of.
No supports either. Birdring, dominant stuff. And the pickoffs were really quite crucial. Yes, you lose space, but you saw just how many cooldowns were being thrown at space just to get that one Sigma pickoff. You're still dealing with a fully stacked backline and Birdry in a safe spot. Not a great start for Vancouver here. Linksa definitely needs to open things up, and Teru, something tells me, Matt, it's a bit too much of a goal for him to cross, and he has to play against a Brig here as a Genji with no Ana support.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the cart trying to play with the tanks, which is all well and good. The issue is they have a Brig on the other side. That's a huge pickoff, though. Skewed off on his own on the side. That's a big pickoff from Linksa.
Shu has to use a Fraternity Burst immediately because Teru comes to pay him a visit. Gets rid of that drone as well. And there it is. Perfect pickoff, finding one of those supports and starting the fight in a comfortable way. Teru actually starts to get to play more aggressive in Skewed's absence. And now at least you know the win condition for Vancouver. It really does revolve around Linksa starting the fight well.
I mean, that's another pick from Linksa. The last fight gets skewed. This time, with the pick on the bird ring, this might solidify them even getting the card across the line, as Gladiators will look like they were potentially trying to set up to get a touch. As soon as you lose your Widowmaker, everybody stalls out for a quick second. So, ooh, Muse takes out Linksa there. As that potentially could have been a halt off to the side as he was trying to get an angle.
So how does Teru get good blade value against Batiste Immortality Field, which, I mean, is annoying, and the Brigitte?
Well, I think it's more of what's going to happen with this Gravitic Flux. Like, does he come in and you just kind of use the Gravitic Flux on top of him when he tries to dive?
Man.
We've seen a lot.
Oh, no! Muse, the other end of the pincer, collides with the Titans from behind. They're not ready for it. The Gladiators take initiative here. Oh, the blade! You're out of your mind, Teru. Three from Teru. Immortality Field making 4. No! Nano boost and 5 kills for Teru. Are you kidding? He gets them all inside the small room, but that fight should have been lost. That should have been dead to rights. Teru with 6.
Oh, we gotta get a replay of that. Well, to pop the blade in that type of scenario, I mean, that is in the situation that he is in. Let's take a look at this. So you're already down your break. You are now down your Batiste. So they're down 4 players here, and he just turns it single-handedly. The blade inside that small corridor is just wild.
I mean, the Gladiators are shell-shocked, so are we. I'm still reeling. Muse steps up now, and he has the widescreen HD TV to get some damage boost here. And Lynx has gone down. Yeah, I mean, that backline though is looking awfully sore, and the Titans, I mean, the Gladiators are just completely rocked by that previous play. I don't blame them. They're one of the most insane Genji plays I've ever seen. No nano boost, no backup. There's an Immortality Field in play as well.
Oh man, what it's like shades of Immortals agilities, right, on Gibraltar in the server room. That one was a crazy blade. That's up there. That's a wild play there from Teru that has given the Titans a real chance on this map to set even a better time than the Gladiators did.
Absolutely unhinged. Linksa takes a sidebar, picks up the Mega. Infrasight now active for the Widowmaker of the Titans. Gravitic Flux will catch, by the looks of things, Rolf, and yeah, he doesn't have any chance to make use of the Immortality Field. He deployed to the ground. It's a nasty spot to get caught. Space, though, blown up. Linksa finds the headshot. The accretion was also there to ensure the kill. And Kevster copies, I mean, this is classic Kevster. He'll have a blade as well. Free blade? Don't mind if I do. Linksa thinks twice about firing and still is subject to the sharp edge of Kevster's sword.
They'll get Teru on the way out, so you have to play quite aggressive, quite close here. If you're the Gladiators, you don't want to give, you want to have them invest this blade that Teru's going to have before like the end of the map, right? You don't want to allow him to get another one or get another one fast. Take these fights close. The payload's still moving backwards. You're able to get him to use the blade here early. You know, let's say you win the fight, amazing. Even if you lose it, you're still going to give yourself a really good chance to get a defensive hold.
2:15 on the clock here. The Titans have fallen behind in time bank. And yes, the possibility of a defensive hold is definitely there because that Ant Matrix does very little except give the Titans position here on this turbine, and that's a cheeky accretion. Rolf's not in position to really give any healing right now, but Shu has gone down. So it's a longer term to go without your Batiste if you're the Gladiators. Excuse me. Birdry gets this random headshot on Teru, forces him back for just a moment, and is able to get away alive. Linksa falls.
Yeah, Linkster is really low, and Kevster goes over the top, right above him, and takes him out with the focusing beam. You burnt a minute off the clock here if you're the Gladiators. So we Gravitic Lux here, and you're gonna maybe get Bird Ring. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, but only one kill for the Flux, and you've lost Rolf. Muse is able to pick that kill up, but here's the blade again. Teru's going to skirt around the edges of that Immortality field deftly, but still runs headlong into Muse, who may as well be a golden brick wall at this stage. Pride Wiener's going to be able to find a kill with the accretion, but that's it for the Titans here, Matt.
Well, we have to get a replay of this. I actually believe, like, Muse is actually fighting fire on the point. Doesn't really have any line of sight on Teru. And at least from the top map, it looks like fire actually whip shots Muse back right into Teru and just ends up killing him. Crazy play there. So, with a headshot there on a Linkster is... No, Linkster was getting the better of Bird Ring, really, for a lot of this portion of the map. Is Teru, you're not going to get out alive there. But Bird Ring's really come alive here the last few fights.
Immortality field deployed early. Teru, once more, playing aggressively here. Gravitic Flux looks like it was cancelled from space where he didn't get the value he was looking for, but Rolf and Fire are very low. Kevster, double kill with the blade as he duplicates again. And now it's the Gladiators getting value from a Genji when they don't even have one on their roster. Kevster looking mighty fine on this Echo, and we're in the dying seconds now. The Titans have to make something happen.
Yep, Chengdu going over to the Wrecking Ball. Just trying to get a touch. I mean, best case, he gets a touch and you're able to push players back, but not able to get to the court. That'll be the Gladiators going up 2-0 quick.
Again, the Gladiators, Matt, not known for being the flashiest of sorts here. In fact, I definitely say that award goes to Teru on that map. Normally, saw him play a bunch of May, bit of Echo. The Genji comes out, and I've seen one of the most insane unassisted Dragon Blades in a extremely short-handed scenario, going up against an Immortality field that I've ever seen. Truly incredible individual skill, but it's not enough to guarantee the map for the Vancouver Titans. And they are now staring down the long, long barrel of a potential sweep. Bird Ring, by the way, just saw the play of the game. He types in chat, holy moly. Even him, he's completely blown away. Insane stuff. We'll be back with map 3, ladies and gentlemen. The Titans fighting for their life.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Pringles. Stay in the game. And by NetApp, the official data management partner of the Overwatch League.
So if you're not like Custer and you remembered to get your pick'ems in last week, hope you didn't get boomed too badly. Of course, those that haven't yet, remember, new tournament means we have a new bracket unlocked. So I think last tournament rather, May Melee, we had like over 2,000 private leaderboards built just for pick'ems. So hopefully you slapped your friends around in pick'ems and you're ready to do it again this month. You can get involved at pick'em.overwatchleague.com. You'll be submitting your picks for this week's matches and, of course, the next week and the next. Get involved and give yourself a chance to win yourself this very nice-looking Widowmaker statue and $500. Big-time money. Let's have a look at our power rankings presented by IBM Watson. And this is our team ranking here, and you'll notice that the Gladiators and the Titans, neither have really fallen in step, I think, with where they'd like to be so far in the league. The Gladiators sit 14th, despite going a respectable 2-2 in the May Melee map, but not being able to play in the knockouts definitely hurt them.
Yeah, I think maybe our expectations were like so high for the Gladiators that like we kind of looked at their performance as I think they definitely underperformed, but maybe we were a little bit too harsh on them. You know, the Dallas Fuel do finish 2-2, but they get in to the knockouts and they're able to go the distance. We do have Moth coming in here for Skewed. I thought Skewed played tremendous the first two maps. But going into Hanamura, you definitely want a Lucio to be able to be played. So that's why you have Moth come in. 2-0 up are the Gladiators. I got my pick'ems in, Mitch. I got the first match correct. If I get the second match correct, this map would be going towards the Gladiators. I think this is a tournament where the Gladiators desperately need to bounce back. I think this game means way more to them and just setting the expectations for the June Joust.
So Moth comes back in here for Hanamura, like you pointed out, and Lucio will be nice to have. Also the option for a defensive Mercy to pair with Kevster, which could definitely come in handy. Pocketed Echo is really a thing right now over in the Eastern region, and some teams I think are starting to pick it up here as well. Not the only way to play it, it's the best part. Even with hero pools, even with Zenyatta, Reinhardt, Sombra and Tracer out of rotation currently, still a ton of different compositions that we've seen from these teams. Now the Titans, though, we're looking at them. Looks like they want to play double shield setup here. Teru, sadly, moving off to Genji, but to a more standard pick, and it will be a defensive Mercy to pocket that Echo for Teru. And Lynx is on the Ashe.
Linkser and Teru are doing everything they can to get these breadsticks. To get all the people out there these breadsticks. I mean,
man, I want breadsticks now, dude.
Trying their hearts out. They do sound good. I mean,
just carbs, actually just carbs. Yeah, I'll take breadsticks, pasta, whatever really. It's all fine.
Just a little sauce they come with breadsticks.
Just get it in me. Yeah, exactly. A little bit of this, that, and the other. All right, here come the Gladiators now. All right, so they play. Yeah, okay, we do play the Lucio as we expect. Shoes on the Baptiste here. Symmetra play. We'll switch now. Yes, in fact, wholesale changes here. Sigma, Hangzhou, Echo.
Double shield here for both teams. No Ashe on the side of the Gladiators. They go the Hangzhou, so they're not really worried much about the long-range battle. I think they actually feel like that with the Mercy pocket, if you get Linkser weak enough or force him into a different position, you can just get the focusing being down on him. And it's really just about the shield pressure that you can create. Try and work down those shields, both of them, with the Hangzhou and try and work your way in.
That may well be the win condition. It's a little undefined, and Lynx has given enough time to find that pick on Kevster. Muse goes gold. Immortality Field also used now. That'll facilitate the Resurrect on Kevster. And the Gladiators have a very advanced position and 6 players still standing right now. Again, they still need to exercise that win condition, Matt. They get rid of the shields, but what's the next step? Perhaps a kill on Linkser is the way to go.
I mean, that's huge, because you have the Mercy and the Echo for both teams fighting to the side. Shu will actually take out Teru, and this puts Fire in a difficult position. What do? You didn't make it to res Linkser. You're not in a position to res your Echo either, as things falling apart for the Titans.
And that's a tough job for Mercy in any case, right? You want to resurrect, but it's too risky to go for that. The whole team's playing on the other side of the map, and then all of a sudden your Echo is blown up pretty quickly. Again, it's tough, I think, pocketing the Echo here, because Echo has to get closer than Farah does to really have that impact. Focusing Beam is much shorter range than those Farah rockets, so that's risky for the pocket too.
You have a Valkyrie here, Ant Matrix, you can use like a Halt plus the Dragon to kick things off. This will be the Gravitic Flux. It actually gets interrupted, and then Birdring takes out Terror. This is bad for the Titans.
Perfect connection by Space without accretion. Shuts Pride Wiener down. Fire's going to go for the Valkyrie here, but he's already lost his whole front line. It's Chunksick going to fall. Dual Kepster, that's nasty. Valkyrie makes it really hard to hit Mercy with that hit scan pressure, but still, big connections by Kepster. Bob even gets used. Bob will persist for a while after being used by an Echo duplication, and that is really fast, man.
That's not good for the Titans. That's not good.
Can you elaborate?
It's not good. This one's going to be tough. Everything that could have went wrong really kind of did there for the Titans. Especially like Friedwiener has to use his Gravitic Flux because it's the only thing they have to stop them from coming in. It gets interrupted. He then gets halted into a Dragon. You've already lost a player at that point. You don't get anything with the Valk. A lot of things in sequence. All that could have went wrong did go wrong for the Titans. Obviously, a really rough go. You know, putting in a new main tank. We don't know how long they've been able to practice with Changsick. And quite frankly, I think he's actually played very well today. I think it's really been, you know, I think it's the support line really that's got to step up here for the Titans. This Bob, I think, gets hit with, it either hits the pole or he gets fluxed. He hits the pole.
Well, I guess that's some beef to go with the breadstick.
Well, to be fair to Linkser, if he goes a little bit further to the right and uses the Bob, most likely the Bob runs directly through both of the center poles and goes off the side, doesn't he?
Yeah, he runs off the point, right?
So he's trying to like angle it so it hits maybe like the right one, and I think probably a little bit of damage comes in, moves his crosshair to the side.
I don't think there's any winning for him there. He's already stuck in spawn with like seconds to go,
I mean, the Bob isn't the reason they lost there. Let's put it that way. It could have bought a little bit of time. Might not have changed the game, but here we go. Full-on dive with the Genji in the mix here for the Titans.
I love it.
This time it'll be Linkser on Genji as Teru will pick up the Echo. I think they know that Teru is stuck at the choke. So they're just kind of looking for him now, trying to get him a little bit weak, which they do, and they'll take him out.
That's the second time Shu has picked off Teru with that Baptiste pressure. Now, sure, Ash is maybe not great against this dive setup. Maybe McCree might be a little bit better, a bit safer. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the Gladiators have such a it's such a low-risk composition, I should say, right? Ton of healing, resurrect potential, 2 shields to work with. The Titans have to get Genji in a position to benefit from this Moira healing. That's a big ask.
And you're making your Echo play into Baptiste, Ash, and a Echo that's pocketed by a Mercy. Really difficult for Teru. Sure, you're able to get, you know, the Genji and the Winston D.Va into a position to jump on a Muse or Space, but they have just so much healing, immortality field, just damage output. Not really worried.
Coalescence at least is a pretty positive way to start this fight. Rolf, mostly for healing, but now, I mean, there's nothing Space can do about that. He just has to accept his fate. Rolf, good work, singling out the Sigma. Teru goes down again early in that fight. A bit frustrating for him as he's way behind in that ult percentage, and Kepster has a chance to duplicate Chunksick or something similar. No, Chunksick is down, so it'll have to be the D.Va instead as far as I can see. Yeah, that's enough though.
Yeah, but you have, if this is a duplicate from Kepster in the D.Va mech, you've got a res onto Muse, so you're going to be able to win this fight if you're the Gladiators. So you hold yet again on defense, you do give up 50% of the point, so FRD will jump off the side. Coming in now, though, Linkster's Blade will be the key. You have no support ult. Shu will come back on the Ana, so potentially trying to land a big Biotic Grenade as they jump in. Sleep Dart onto Linkser here. But you also have the Valkyrie. Moth can just go up in the sky, try and heal everybody through it. You don't have a nano for this blade.
Didn't seem to bother Teru too much, but something tells me that was really a once in a blue moon kind of thing. So that's the question. Where do I go with this blade? Can I
Playing
find...
for Coalescence.
And Wolf has it now. So every fight seems to be coal available, but it takes time to build, and that time is dwindling. 1 minute and 3 remains. Lynx is in though, looking for the Ana. Shu's in trouble. Defense Matrix doesn't save him, but Kevster deals with Lynxer. It's a trade. Remember, Moth is playing Mercy. If they can facilitate a resurrect here, then that blade does nothing.
I mean, he is so deep as well, Lynxer, when he uses that blade. I mean, nobody else really. Changsik, the only one that's close, is he'll go over to the Widowmaker. Just kind of tells you where we are in the game. Is
another dude.
A little bit of a desperation as this will be 2 Divas out of the field. Lynxer actually kills Moth in the choke, so maybe you're able to keep this going if you're the Titans, but...
They're on point. Yeah, spawn advantage is definitely here for Vancouver, Matt.
Yeah.
Getting rid of the Mercy is big.
If Bob can maybe get a touch.
Here we go.
Yeah.
He touches.
Gets moved back, but he's still getting a touch.
He's on the point. Don't you worry about that. Space now. Oh my. The DM for Bob. Okay, I don't know what the Gladiators could really make happening. Yeah, everyone's in position, but...
Yeah. Space is in touch.
Yeah, look, that's on the individual there, unfortunately. Space is just not able to keep it going for quite long enough. And this means an awkward stagger right now. Remember, quick respawns for defenders in this position, though, so not the end of the world. It's not great.
Yes, maybe they were going to use the nano there on the spaces. This will be a duplicate here from Teru onto Bird Ring. I believe he just did that to stay alive. You had space and Bird Ring down there, yeah.
Oh, God, the Gladiators are letting this fall apart in a big way. Lynx is down. Chunksik's in a pretty safe position right now, but he's not capping from here. He's got to drop eventually. He does so. There's a Brig. Moth now on the Brigitte. And Muse is just going to sit in the corner here. Only Coalescence can hurt Muse, and he's getting a fair bit of healing right now. Moth now going to guarantee some decent Inspire uptime there. You saw the proc, the AoE coming out from him. And Muse is just unkillable. That's your best opportunity you're going to get here, Matt, I think.
It might. I mean, Kevster just up on the high ground, dives Lynxer. He gets 0 help because they're just playing the Moira and the Lucio. We're really like Lynxer and Teru than the ones who have opened up any of these opportunities. But as soon as they lost Lynxer, Kevster's just up on the high ground, just sticky bombs, try shots from a distance. No worry, nobody was even coming for him or looking at him. And you can't let an Echo go that free.
This is quite the gambit. Lynxer against the Orisa composition, looking for picks. Chunksik's going to hope to try and give him something by knocking people out in the open. Not the Battle Cow. Not with Fortify anyway. Supercharge has gone down for Muse there. That self-destruct just sort of provokes Space to do the same, and Verdering gets rid of fire. That's crucial. Mid-round kill. Oh, another Genji duplication. Run for the hills, Vancouver. Looks like there's a bigger monster, and it's Kevster's blade gets shut down early. It won't matter. The Titans have very little left to use.
So a minute to go. This makes more sense now, not playing the Widow. Although the Widow really got them that first point when he was able to take out Moth. But now this makes more sense. You're able to get the Reaper in there with the Genji. You stay on Genji because you're close to the Blade.
Sure.
The Blade plus Coalescence. That might be strong enough to get you the point cap. But still, some options here for the Gladiators. You know, they do have a Nano. You can Nano the Break here. Nano Kevster. And then you also have Bob. Can test the point.
All right, Teru, can you do it again to keep your team alive in the map in the series? It's time for the Blade. Oh, whoa! That doesn't go the way you would expect it to. Still, Moth is going to go down. Teru, rather resilient. The Coalescence definitely helping keeping him nice and healthy. And they get rid of both supports. The Vancouver Titans, that's their second best opportunity to take the point. It looks like they're making good on this one, Matt.
Yes, it looks like they will be able to take it. It'll be Moth who jumps on. You're just trying to get it into OT here. If you're the Gladiators, which you do. So they do get it into OT. No time on the clock. Still 4 minutes for the Gladiators to win the map.
Yeah, it's tough stuff for the Vancouver Titans. The Paris Eternal had to do this, I think, in week 1 or 2. It's just, you know, fighting just to try and force a condition where you can maybe get a draw. That is the situation now for Vancouver. Again, Lynxer and Teru both having a go on the Genji. Custer tweeted it, you know what I mean? I think he's pretty adamant about people not ruining his games, but he sort of said that Genji is not meta. It's something that the Dallas Fuel are able to make work specifically well. It looks like the Titans, you know, kind of enjoy trying to make that happen. I thought that one of their best looks, Matt, was on Ilios when they made that sort of Reaper Echo comp. I'm kind of simping for that setup right now. I think it's probably one of the safest, the best ways to go. But so look, we get a lot of variety for Vancouver, Matt, but they're just a couple too many steps behind the Gladiators, who don't look squeaky clean themselves, right? But it's more than enough to get the job done here.
Yeah, the Gladiators don't look... I mean, they don't look invincible, right? Yep. Like the Dallas Fuel in our previous series just looked absolutely lights out. Like, I don't really think there was anything that London could have done in that series. And I think, you know, in the long run, the Titans, I think, are a little bit, you know, outmatched here against the Gladiators as well. But the Titans have had some really, like, heroic moments from Linkser and Teru, and you know, they made it relatively close in certain situations where, yeah, the Gladiators haven't looked lights out in this series. Although... maybe just kind of the explosive nature of the team, it's just not like that, right? Maybe they're more of a team that kind of want to works you down, not these, you know, hero highlight plays that you see from like Sparkle and whatnot. And they just want to play the game the right way, try and just work teams down and get wins. So they go back with the Hangzhou pick yet again. Same exact way they took down offense.
Well, you talked about heroism from Linkser and Teru. It's going to have to come from every single member of the Titans for 4 minutes straight. Not a small job at all. Linkser turns his attention now. The Gladiators are a little split, but I don't think they mind this, Matt.
No, I mean, you let this Hangzhou take the high ground and this off angle. Like, what do the tanks do at the choke? This is an ant matrix. This will force both tanks back into such a tough position. I mean, you can't let that happen here if you're the Titans. Giving up that type of position to Bird Ring, I mean, it just puts FRD and Changsik in a no-win situation.
Resurrect on point for Kevster, and that'll be enough to get the job done. The Titans cannot hold up against the pressure of the Gladiators, who look to be just a little bit cleaner. Now, is it sexy Overwatch? Maybe not always from the Gladiators, Matt, but they play the game, and they play correctly. I think that's the big takeaway there. The Titans, you can see they're a few days, maybe practice sessions, just behind in the execution of these comps, if not the strategy itself.
Yeah, I think they have to go back, and I don't even think it's really their kind of compositions. I think they had the right compositions. I think it's just kind of the way they're playing them in certain situations. Like right there, you can't let the Echo, the Hangzhou with the Mercy take an off angle on your tanks in the choke, especially when they're going up against, you know, the Orisa Sigma with a Batiste. The Ant Matrix come down, and what do you want the tanks to do? They back into the corner away from the Ant Matrix.
I mean, that Matrix covers both entrances, by the way.
Yeah, like, and they're just getting mowed down by the Hangzhou damage at range. And you don't have, like, any way of responding from your team, where I thought Linkser and Teru both put up pretty good games today. I think you really got to kind of nail down the support line here for the Titans. I think you gotta see them, you know, whether it's you know, give them a little bit more health, a little bit more peel, just keep them alive a little bit longer in some of these fights to give them a chance.
Now, talking about support lines, I think that was one of the most impressive parts of the Gladiators' play today. And our player of the match, presented by Xfinity, goes to Sun, who actually got subbed out for map number 3. But Skewed was an absolute raid boss today. The Brig play was insane. He has 94% kill participation on Ilios, and then like something like 86, 88 on Junkertown. He was involved in almost every single kill there. This shutdown was ridiculous. He's 3k. There's no nano boost here as well. So it's not like the normal raid boss beginner that we sort of complain about. But there, I mean, this is the whole point of playing Brig. You want to make it really unpleasant to dive. Skew does so well staying alive there. He builds 50% of his ult in that one little fight. Very, very impressive play. Yeah, yes, chat. A Brig player is getting player of the match. Yes.
Well, he was just that good on the hero, right? Where you could notice that the Brig was making a huge difference, and you see why they have him in for the...
Look at the defensive assist per 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, kind of wild. The Inspire uptime at like 40%, that's just getting tons of value out of the passive healing. That's without like the armor pack. So really good play from Skewed. I think his Brig was a huge difference maker in the first 2 maps, because we were seeing like Linkser and Teru doing some really nice things in the DPS role, but as soon as we kind of got into that brawl, the Brig play from Skewed took over.
And what better way to punish a team that maybe has a newer addition in the main tank role and a team that doesn't want to play double shield all that much, right? They're trying to play dive. I mean, you want to dissuade dive in general with the Brigitte, but what a better way to, not just dissuade, but also punish that particular play by just being so skilled in that role. Moth comes in later on. Moth even, plays a little bit of this, bit of that. But really, the damage is done on those first 2 maps. I was shocked to see, Terry's Dragon Blade. Really impressive stuff. There were definitely signs of life, but you hinted at the backline for the Titans, man. Often, Rolf is just not in a position where he can get the most out of his healing, and there's definitely something to take back to the drawing board for the Vancouver Titans, who are 0-5 right now and are looking for a little bit of redemption. On the other side, though, the Gladiators are looking like they want to be part of the June Joust finals. Let's see if they can do it. We'll be back after the break with a post-show and, of course, an interview with the birthday boy himself.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Tell me when everyone's back to.
Oh, bird ring to the back. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, you are very dead.
Bird ring comes in. The Ash play. It's filthy.
It's go time.
It's Bird ring. He's going off. That's unbelievable. Here we go.
Bird ring, bird ring, bird ring, bird ring, bird. Oh my god.
Sit down.
This is so juicy. Is he gonna get it? He does.
Oh, that is filthy. From the shadows he emerges.
That was
I don't know if he was aiming for that.
No one knows what's going on. Only bird ring is in control of this fight.
No! It's like a pizza oven in there.
This is spicy.
Welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM. We're joined now by the birthday boy, Birdring from Los Angeles Gladiators. 버딘 선수 안녕하세요.
Hello. 안녕하세요.
We just saw a very cool piece. It was like you on Ash and your cool plays from the Overwatch League. What did you think? 방금 그 버딩 선수의 지금까지 뭐 했던 경기나 좀 좋은 플레이들을 좀 모은 거를 봤는데 좀 개인적인 생각 좀 어떠신가요? 보니까 저런 거 보니까.
나빼드하네요.
That's it. All right. Oh yeah, Birdring says yeah, not bad. That's literally all he said. Okay, not bad. So Birdring, of course, after going 2-2 and being knocked out of the May Melee, what was the Los Angeles Gladiators' big takeaway from the May Melee tournament? And what did you guys work on during the month-long break before the June Joust? 이제 저번 달 5월 토너먼트에서 어떻게 보면 2승 2패로 아쉽게 탈락을 하면서 한 달간의 좀 이렇게 휴식 기간을 치르고 그다음에 이제 6월 토너먼트 들어오시게 되셨는데 5월 토너먼트를 치르고 나서 좀 배운 점이 있다면 그리고 이 한 달간의 어떻게 보면 좀 긴 이 휴식 기간에서 좀 6월 토너먼트를 위해서 어떻게 준비를 하셨나요?
일단 저희가 댈러스의 자리가 저있게 될 수 있지 않았을까라는 좀 아쉬움 그런 게 좀 많이 남았었고요. 일단은 메이밀리 떨어지고 나서 일단 경기를 보면서 푹 팀원들 모두 푹 쉬었고 이제 다음 경기 이번 6월 토너먼트를 위해서 진짜 좀 다들 좀 더 일을 갈고 열심히 하는 그런 분위기가 된 것 같습니다. 5월에 그런 아픔, 슬픔 때문에.
Right. So after our May Melee tournament, we sort of, we had this feeling, and we were sort of frustrated and sad that Dallas's spot could have been ours, and that is truth because they could have been there, but Dallas won. But Birdring says, yeah, they were sort of sad that seeing Dallas go up and up, that could have been Los Angeles Gladiators. After the May Melee, however, Los Angeles Gladiators, they took the time off, they really rested well, and coming into the June Joust tournament, they practiced a lot, and they had this burning fire in them to really perform well because after being knocked out of the May Melee, they just focused on practicing and scrimming so that they could put on their best performance for the June Joust. All right, moving on. My second question for you, Birdring, is you guys are going up against the Atlanta Reign, a team that has been dominating the June Joust. What are you going to do for your birthday? 자, 이제 두 번째 질문은 어떻게 보면은 이제 다음 경기는 이제 아틀란타 팀과 이번에 지금 6월 토너먼트에 들어와서 굉장히 지금 좋은 모습을 보여주고 있는 막강한 팀인데, 네, 버딘 선수 오늘 생일인데 뭐 하실 건가요?
일단 뭐 내일이 당장 대회라서 뭐 딱히 오늘 따로 할 거는 없을 것 같고 대회 준비를 해야죠.
Alright, I sort of thought that Birdring would laugh at that joke, but I don't think it went through. But yes, Birdring says that because they do have a match tomorrow against Atlanta Reign, I don't think he says that he doesn't think he's gonna have time to do anything special, so he's probably going to be practicing a lot for the match against Atlanta Reign. How about Birdring? How about after the match? Are you trying to celebrate for your birthday? 그러면 이제 내일 경기가 끝나고 나서는 좀 뭐 하실 생각이 있으신가요? 뭐 할 거 있나요?
아니면 뭐 할 거 없죠. 뭐 제가 뭐 하겠습니다. 게임이나 해야죠. 뭐 생일은 똑같습니다. 생일도 뭐.
Hey man, hey, yeah, Birdring says, hey, what can I do? I mean, there's nothing really much for me to do other than just play games, right? So I think I'm just gonna play games and play Overwatch. True gamer, Birdring. Anyways, Birdring, again, happy birthday. Thank you so much for the interview and good luck tomorrow. 생일 너무나도 축하드리고요. 네, 내일 그럼 뵙도록 하겠습니다.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's head back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Birdring. Thank you, Danny. That was so funny. Well, that even makes you feel better. I cracked up. I had to try really, really hard to stay silent and not laugh out loud. So, yeah, we appreciate you. And you
I got very confused in the question. You finished the question, I was like, wait, did you just say birthday? I'm lost in this interview.
That felt like doing a DMV test, like completely misleading at the start and then, you know, throwing in that curveball. I guess he caught it, or maybe he didn't catch it.
No, he did catch it, but I thought, you know,
in the end.
I thought he would at least laugh a little bit. I thought he was gonna crack up, but he was a professional. He just answered the question. It was like,
unlike all of us. That's
that's idiots on the desk.
No, we appreciated it, and it's always great to hear from our players. So thank you so much for sharing their insight with us, Danny. Now, let's talk about the game we just got to watch. I know the games have been going really, really quickly, so there may or may not be too much to actually analyze and dissect, but we're going to try regardless. Talking about the match between the Gladiators and the Titans, this was the first look we're now seeing of the Gladiators in the June Joust. How do we feel? Do you guys get a sense that they have a good grasp on the meta and found something which works for them, or have they not been truly tested?
I think they look good. They look good. I'm a little concerned with how passive they were playing at moments. If you look at like the number of final blows that went from each team, it was heavily lopsided towards the Gladiators, but even especially on the first map on Ilios, Vancouver Titans actually cut it pretty close. Gladiators were willing to give that space so that they could get the perfect fight and get the perfect engage. It was fine against the Vancouver Titans, but I am a little concerned if they go up against good teams like they did in May Melee, they might get punished a little bit more for this start. I don't know what you think, if you agree with me on that one, Johnny.
I mean, a little bit, yeah. It maybe wasn't their best showing ever, but at the same time, I kind of feel like maybe it's just me, we're kind of underestimating the LA Gladiators because they, went 2-2 last stage when in reality they lost to Shock and the Fuel. I feel like if they build on this performance, the LA Gladiators could genuinely be very competitive with the rest of our top teams here in the North American region and potentially leave a mark in the knockout stages even going into the June Joust playoffs. Yes, they looked a bit passive at times. There was some hesitation when, for example, Space was going to recontest Point A on Hanamura and, he flew out and then he tried to go back in and then, ended up having his two supports jump off the map to reset. It was just all over the place. But I feel like overall, if the Gladiators can build on this performance, I think this could be the meta. They're flexible, showing different compositions, and they do have the individual skill, and we saw some really good moments at times. So I feel like this is a Gladiators to watch out for the rest of the June Joust.
Yeah, definitely shouldn't, be so timid as you both said. I think we all agree on that. And if they just rock up with a little bit more confidence and bring that tempo to the opposition and the aggression, most of all, they may be faring really well in the June Joust. So lots of good signs here for the Gladiator fans to look out for. Now on the other side, Vancouver Titans. They had a few bright spots as well. I think Teru definitely made his presence felt as well today.
Yeah, for sure. He was very good. We have hyped up Teru. It is unfortunate, like on the Vancouver Titans, they haven't had much success as a team, so it's very hard to shine. But if you play Genji, it's always easy to shine, and he showed that in this match, especially on that Junkertown. That was ridiculous, that Genji blade that he got. He's really coming out of his shell and really proving that he is a great DPS player for the Vancouver Titans. For me, they need to round everything else though. Vancouver Titans, I think some of their support ultimates were pretty weak, and some of their grasp on the meta, they wanted to play a lot of Lucio, but weren't really playing well in that style. The first thing that comes to mind is Junkertown, right? They're playing this Lucio Orisa style, but not playing fast enough to overrun the Gladiators. So some good ideas, just the execution isn't there right now.
Yeah, maybe I just want you to know.
Maybe Genji's good.
I was just about to talk about Genji.
No. Oh, really?
I want you to know that the fear and pain in your voice when you try to hype up and be positive about a Genji showing, it showed. I heard it and I felt it. Yeah, it showed.
I'm not sold on this Genji. Until I see one team beat another team in a very competitive matchup with Genji, I'm not going to be sold. So far, it feels like Genji is this niche strat that works when they're overwhelming. It doesn't feel like Genji is the deciding factor. Obviously, he gets these big blades, but if he doesn't get the value of those big blades, and we saw this from Teru on their attack on Junkertown, if you don't get the value out of those blades, you fall very short and you don't have that sort of macro style to play the game. So I am concerned that a lot of teams are going to get baited into this Genji, but hey, they're pro players. I'm not anymore. They might be right, and I could just be wrong at this point. So we'll see.
That said, though, I will
Johnny
say
agrees with
that yes, we disagree, or well, you say that you shouldn't play Genji in Drang. I think the Danny Genji could be really helpful in Casters to Masters because you were really struggling. Your performances have been horrible on the Overwatch YouTube channel. Casters to Masters, our weekly show where talent just straight up loses in ranked. I think Danny Genji could be the key.
Johnny,
to unlock
are
some
you?
wins
You're being
Replace
serious?
the Brenji.
Really?
No,
I mean,
it's
at
not.
this point,
Stop it.
try something new,
Stop
Danny.
No.
You don't
No.
trust my tank play?
No. No.
Johnny.
Look, your tank play is good, Danny, but you're the best player on
Don't lie
that
to
team,
him.
and I think you can be used elsewhere. I think you should be TPS.
Hey, Caster, y'all heard that? You heard? Yeah, you're hearing Johnny?
Costa agrees. Costa VOD reviewed. He saw.
I did VOD
Danny's
review.
good.
I did. Yeah. You had some good moments. You had some good moments, Danny. I think that there was. I think everybody on that team soft threw at a different point. Just everyone had some horrible plays.
Yeah,
honestly,
you like my window?
You can only go up from here. So maybe
You
Danny
like-
Genji.
You
Maybe
like my
Johnny's right.
window? My back window?
Yeah, the window was great. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I still think about it when I
something.
close my eyes. So there's that. Now moving on to actual pro play, Dallas Fuel. They continue to, live their best lives, just playing the meta, making their own meta, rather. So yeah, things are looking great for them. On the other side, unfortunately, London Spitfire continue their losing streak, being 0-7 as of right now. And I also think, without doing the quick math, their chances of getting into the June Joust are slim to non-existent at this point. They're definitely out of their hands as they only have one more match to play.
Yeah, and it's going to be hard for the London Spitfire to get that. So at this point, especially with how hard we said their schedule was going to be, I just wanted to see some good performances and some growth from the London Spitfire. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see that against the Dallas Fuel, but that's the Dallas Fuel. They're so oppressive. They are playing against Houston Outlaws, I believe the London Spitfire are in their next match this weekend, so hopefully we can see a little bit more life from them. But on the other hand, Dallas Fuel, man, they're just oppressive no matter how they play the game. They're so good. The synergy, the dive, the coordination is just on another level, and that's why they get away with playing whatever they want.
Yeah, but how long is this going to last, Costa? I think that is the question. You asked it yourself earlier. How long can you rely on the Sparkle Genji, especially in the June Joust, where we've seen some more double shield play. Definitely even the Gladiators throw out some more Visa here in their match against the Vancouver Titans. The Atlanta Reign, of course, have looked spectacular, playing more solid tanks. So the Dallas Fuel, they play this Winston composition, they play with some Lucio Moira, kept going at a very aggressive and rapid pace. But how long can this last? Yes, you beat the London Spitfire in a very convincing fashion today, but the question remains, how good will the Dallas Fuel be for the rest of the stage? And that's where I think Sunday's match against the San Francisco Shock will be a true test for the Dallas Fuel in this new hero pool kind of meta. So, good initial impression for the Dallas Fuel following their main melee win. But
I like that you bring us all back to the floor. Stop it. Stop celebrating the
No, I'm hyping up Sunday's match, Zoe. More great Overwatch coming your way. Sunday!
No, I was vibing with the Fuel and you just kind of put me down right there. I'm not having it. Also, quick correction on my part. I think I just said that the London Spitfire only have one more match to play. Of course, they have two more to play, so I was wrong on that. Now, I want to take a quick look at our predictions, which... not the biggest surprise, but we were right. Actually, after last week, it might be a big surprise. We were right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can do that too. Look at us go.
Yep. Yay.
Yeah,
everyone's a winner.
Yeah, beautiful.
Did you pick 3-0 in pick'ems?
Yeah, I got 6 points today.
No, I got 5 points.
No, I had a 3-1 for Vancouver.
Yeah,
I don't
me
know
too.
why, but that's what did happen.
I don't know why either.
Toxic.
Yeah.
I get that sometimes too. I'm not just like 3-0 is weird. I don't want to predict a 3-0 because it's weird. The same thing happened because they have double points in the New York Valiant game, I think it is. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to predict a 3-0 because it's double points. It's not going to be a 3-0, but then of course it's going to be a 3-0.
It's like that. It's like, okay, we know the first game. I was like, okay, I know the first game. I feel like first game is going to be 3-0. There's no way, it's not possible for both of the games going to be 3-0. That's going to be way too
exactly.
So I'm like, all right, I'll give Vancouver 1
Can't
point.
trust.
This is Gladiators' first game. They might try things out, but then they still 3-0.
Also, just before we move on from this part, like we didn't really get to talk about it. I'm number one in the standings. Just
No, that was on
reminding
purpose.
everyone.
We purposely talked
Let's
through
move on.
it
Talk
all.
about the graphics, but it was there. You know, I'm number one, baby. Just bring the crown
I
back.
love
When's
that.
the crown coming?
That was very intentional, us not mentioning that Costa's currently on number one whatsoever. And you know what? We're not even going to discuss it any further. We're just heading straight into a break. And then afterwards, we're back with probably the most popular Watch Point segment of all times, according to probably no one. But anyway, best of the day is coming right up after a very quick break.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League. And by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back to the Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM. Here on the desk, we always appreciate, you know, the quick plays, the high-speed action, and the rapid movement in our beloved game, Overwatch. So it is time for Xfinity Speed Boost. For the whole day was basically that. That's correct. It's been, it went over, I feel like we literally just did the pre-show.
Yeah.
Which we kind of did, actually.
Shortest day in history, it feels like. It feels like we just finished it, and this is like the halftime break after the first map. You know, it's like the halftime break. Like, okay, guys, what did we see in the first two maps? But it's already over, and it's due to this guy, this Sparkle guy, just killing everyone consistently. So big plays.
What do we do now? Big plays.
What do you even do with the rest of your day now?
Do I like to take my dog out for a walk and then play some rank?
Oh, that sounds like a nice day.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that sounds delightful.
I don't know. This is unprecedented. It's always Overwatch on my mind, and now I'm like, what? Like,
here's what we do.
Over? No.
Here's what we do. Let's have a birthday party for
when
Birdring.
we have. Let's all individually have a party for him.
For
he doesn't need to be here. We don't need.
Yeah, he doesn't seem
it.
that excited for his own birthday. I feel like I was way more excited for his birthday than he was.
Also true.
We can make something happen, Danny. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make something happen for
Let's
him.
celebrate his birthday without him. He doesn't even need to know about it.
For him.
We're just having a good time. Yeah, for him, obviously without him. Duh. It's gonna be great. Great times. Yeah, I'm already having great ideas. So make sure to follow us on, you know, our social media for our celebratory pics of his birthday without him. Now, it is time not just for the greatest birthday of all times, but also for just the best of the day. It's been a short day, but there are still plenty of things to pick from. My best of the day just has to involve Genji, because I feel like that's the only thing which actually happened today, which is a lot of Genji.
Yep.
Slicing and dicing and slicing and dicing. So yeah, Sparkle was just out here playing Fruit Ninja all over their opponents. Like it was quite beautiful actually. Yeah,
This guy gets high scores.
relatable content.
That's all I'm saying.
Yep. Another one.
That
No,
was
it just didn't stop. It felt like one long blade throughout the entirety of the match.
Fruit Ninja. Wow, I haven't.
That's a
That was
throwback, right?
Yeah, that was
Anyone
a
still
throwback.
playing that, or just me?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I definitely don't play it either.
Just none of us, right?
All right. I think I'm gonna go next. So we talked about Sparkle Genji. I'm talking something way different. I'm talking about Genji without Nano Boost, slicing and dicing, like the players cutting tofu.
Oh.
Yeah, but no Nano Boost. Yes, it's Teru from Vancouver Titans. This guy he wasn't nano boosted. There wasn't a bongo. It was just Matt Mursal called this a naked blade. Naked blade. Yeah, and making it work. It's just cool to see.
All I'm hearing is
Hero
that
popping
you
off.
calling the Gladiators tofu. That's all that's stuck in my memory now.
Have you guys played the game Tofu?
Tofu Ninja.
Tofu Ninja.
We should make a game called Tofu Ninja. It's
yeah.
completely
It's
different.
gonna be a
game.
hit. It's different kind of tofu. There's firm, there's soft, there's medium.
Really?
So it's gonna be
There's
a
all these
complete different
different
experience for all of those tofus.
There's a firm tofu.
Toffees. Yeah.
I don't even know how
firm
tofu is
tofu?
made. I couldn't tell you what
it's
tofu
beans.
is made of.
I know it's beans.
It's beans.
It's beans.
Doesn't that explain everything?
No idea.
It's beans. Wait, I think
Is
it's
Danny
beans.
lying to us? Is Danny
Yeah,
lying to
it's
us on
soybeans.
broadcast to make us look stupid?
There you go. Yeah, okay, I was like,
What?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What?
I knew that.
I'm
not
Asian.
legit.
I know my tofu, but I didn't know they had like firm, smooth. Wait, would you say smooth tofu?
Yeah, there's soft, there's medium. Anyway,
Oh.
this is not. It's not about tofu.
What do you mean? No, it is now.
Wait till you read it. Okay, well then let's have a discussion.
Tofu
about
rankings.
Tofu Ninja.
Oh,
Tofu
they're gonna come in.
rankings.
Tofu rankings.
Hey, firm
Yeah, no,
tofu
I'm-
S tier for sure.
For sure, I was just about to say that. Yeah.
I feel
Well,
so
now
bad
we
for
sorted that
production.
as short rankings, really.
They don't know how to go from this. Let me put us back on track. Best of the day. My best of the day is the definition of helping a friend out. So we're gonna have the Dallas Fuel trying to get a close spawn camp here. But D.Va, if you've ever played D.Va, can't crouch and is just the world's loudest character in the game. So they're going to push the D.Va towards the spawn so that the opposition won't hear any of the footsteps, which genius play, and that's very friendly, really helping Hanbin out get close to the doors. Unfortunately, London just walked out of the doors and used a sonic arrow, and it's all for naught.
Immediately.
But that doesn't mean it was any less cool, you know? That teamwork makes the dream work right here.
I've
Oh
never
my
seen
God,
this
I
happen.
can't
Like, I
believe that,
legit, I've never seen this though. This is the first time I'm seeing this.
Yeah, I've never
Never
seen
seen
a D.Va
anyone
big push.
doing that.
What?
Yeah.
I've seen this a couple of
I've
times.
never seen that.
In like Ghost
Really?
Meta,
I've
because
never
you'd always
seen
hold
it
close in Ghost Meta.
I don't
So
know.
I must have
you
completely
pushed the D.Va.
blacked out on that. Yeah, no.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, I got
oh,
some real
here we
nightmares
are.
of being held at spawn on Guangzhou. It's not fun. It's not fun at all. Yeah. Well, I it's been a short day, as we said, and there's not a ton of highlights. So for my best of the day, I too have a Genji highlight.
Yay.
The main support equivalent of a Genji highlight.
Yeah.
Fruit Ninja with a flail.
Okay.
Fruit Ninja with a flail. That's what we do these days. I'm gonna make this my mobile app next. We got skewed here. You don't want to be stuck in a room versus a nano brig. It's actually not a nano brig. It's just a regular brig. Just flailing, slicing and dicing with a
No,
maze.
it's not potato mashing.
slicing and
There's
dicing?
no
Yeah,
slicing
no.
and dicing.
It's
No,
pumpkin
it's
smashing.
just
Smashing and bashing.
smashing and
go.
bashing. There you
Bashing
go.
and smashing, yeah.
Don't get stuck in a small room with a small brig. Reinhardt is gone, so this is the only thing I have. Like this is close to reality
It's
as it gets to
close,
me.
yeah.
So thank you, Skewed. I appreciate this. Best of the day for me. Thank you.
Big naked
Love your
brig
contribution.
play.
stuck in a small room with a small brick.
It's fine if she's big, but if she's small, like, you know what I mean? There are just danger waiting to happen. Guys, let's take a look at the APAC Regions June Joust qualifier standings before we finish off our day. And I just want everyone to remember that these points will determine whether or not those teams make it into the upcoming tournament of the June Joust. And once again, a reminder that there's a lot of juicy points on the line if you're winning that tournament. 3 points, that's a lot of points that help Dallas to find their way back into the standings. And I think a lot of the teams here will greatly benefit from these extra points heading into the later parts of the season. Who do you guys want to see pop off? Not who is gonna pop off, but who do you want to see pop off?
I just want to talk about this standing real fast. Like, how are Spark and Charge and New York Excelsior the top 3 right now? Obviously, a couple of the teams haven't played, but I think those teams were literally the bottom 3 last May Melee, and now they're the top 3. It's actually chaos in the APAC region. Valiant. Yeah, Valiant is also there, which is great for them. But I think there's a lot of great teams. I want to watch more Shy, if I'm just being honest. He's so good. If you haven't watched Shy play the game yet, he is honestly the sole reason for the resurgence of the Hangzhou Spark. So go check that out. Go watch Spark pound.
That telemarketer guy got to him. I guess he took another phone call.
Oh yeah. Do you like pink?
Very bold.
I wanted to say about the Guangzhou Charge actually. People have been sleeping on my boy Choice1. I said going into the season that this guy was going to be a really good flex DPS, and he had a really bad melee. Like, it was horrible. Don't watch those VODs. You do want to watch Guangzhou Charge's VODs this past week, of course, when they did play in APAC, because they look like a top 3, top 4 kind of team in the APAC region. They look genuinely good. Karib had a stunning match against the New York Excelsior, just hit biotic grenade after biotic. It was quite unreal. So the Guangzhou Charge, keep an eye on those guys. But we have the Seoul Dynasty playing tonight, so I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Good. Yeah.
Hey Philly,
I can't wait
come
to
on.
see. Yes. Hey, what? What?
Philly.
Let's go, Philly.
Philly, come on.
Okay.
Wake up. All right, that's it.
Wake up.
They're not playing.
Wake
this week.
up.
They're not playing this week.
Yeah, I know they're not playing.
Listen to Danny. It doesn't matter. They still need to cheer me on. So Danny just got their back, and I appreciate that for one. Yeah, I mean everything is upside down and thrown around. Like, I don't even know how to make picks anymore. I might as well throw a coin for most of them. Probably as accurate given what has happened so far in the June Joust. We just have to embrace the chaos. Now let's take a look at the NA region standing for the June Joust as well, so we can get an idea of where we're currently at in this very region. Also, we flipped everything on the head. Everything's just wow.
Boston's the best team in North America. Who would have thought? This isn't obviously a small sample size. Boston is the best team in North America right now. Clip it and ship it.
Right now.
Here we are.
Yep.
Boston.
I'm pretty sure the regular season is over.
Right now, for sure.
This is the all-time standings for 2021. I'm pretty sure the season ends here. We don't have more matches. That was an Uprising.
I mean, if it were up to Boston, probably would. It's like, that's it. We're done. Stop it.
We're done. Pack it up.
Pack it up. Hey, yeah, it's all about context, right? So you just clip it however you want, and you can make sure that your team is on the top of it all. Now, I'm very excited to see what all these teams still have in store for us. We, of course, still have some matches to play in the June Joust qualifier. Each team has to play 4 qualifier matches, and we're not even near done with all of those. So still a lot of points to be had and to lose as well. So let's take a look at the schedule for tomorrow, as we have a lot of great games coming up and coming your way. Very excited for many of those. Particularly, I'm very excited, of course, for Atlanta Reign and Gladiators, as I already said. Given that Atlanta Reign actually did look so good in their first showing, and now seeing that the Gladiators also, looking a lot more comfortable in this meta than they did with the May Melee one, it's going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah.
So
really good. I'm excited for it. Atlanta Reign, of course, they're a favorite going into the knockout rounds. Dare I say, I don't even know if they qualified yet, but they look really good. They're one of the favorites, dare I say, in the knockout rounds. So, still some qualifier games to go, and this one, they're certainly favored against the LA Gladiators. Dare I say, dare I say, their favorite? Who knows? Maybe I'm not allowed to say that. I don't know.
Well, you said it now.
Atlanta good.
There it is.
Atlanta good. That's all I'm saying.
Good.
Are you going to pick
Atlanta
him
good.
Just give me some insight. You're going to pick him tomorrow, Johnny?
No, I'm actually going with the Gladiators, Costa. So
I don't believe your lies at all. I don't believe you at all.
I'll think about it, but I think I'm going with the Gladiators, Costa. So stay tuned for that.
I feel like our pickings tomorrow are going to be fun. I think predictions
Yeah.
tomorrow may or may not end up a little spicier than today at least. So that's
Really?
good. That's good news. Now, I really want to drag this out for as long as possible, just so, you know, we fill our hours. But, hey, we get paid regardless, actually, so it doesn't matter. And that means that we can say goodbye and you know, go about our days. And we will be back, of course, tomorrow, once again, with more matches in the Overwatch League 2021. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me here on the desk. Can't wait to be back, and now enjoy a lot of your day, actually. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
What are we gonna do? What do I do?
I don't know.
Just stay here.
Is the sun still out?
Until tomorrow.
You guys want to play a game?
What is
play
the
arcade?
sun?